In ancient history, a war between the newly created races of Toril and the forces of Hell left humanity nearly extinct. In the post-cataclysmic world, humans placed themselves above all others, while races deemed undesirable watched from below. Ferox, a newly created race intertwined with beast and elf, were regarded to be even more monstrous and were forced into servitude. During the war, the gods and goddesses gifted unique arcane artifacts to those fighting against the Hells. These items turned the tides of war and brought forth brand new schools of magic in the form of the mage class. Alas, magic and hope fade from a world on the brink of destruction. Our hope now lends itself to a select and unlucky few.
There we go.
Hello and welcome all of you out there to the Unlucky Few. My name is Liz, coming at you with, once again, for the third straight week, 4 out of the 5 cast members. I swear we'll have everyone all here together again, eventually.
The healthy one last week is now sick.
Yeah, we finally got her. And she has
last week is now healthy.
She has a new job that she's starting, so don't want her to miss any time. So wherever you are out there, Cass,
Her house, probably.
that's for you.
Aww.
She's my best friend. So announcements for this week, as always.
I'm tech again.
Yeah, not as always, but our tech person is not here. Catch him rolling in not so sneakily, probably 15 or 20 minutes after we finish our break. As always, this video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/toughdnd, on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We will be back at it again next Saturday. Do not believe we have any more planned outages in the near future. So catch us coming back with some stuff next week. We have a pretty big episode planned for you this week, however. We have a little bit of a flashback that we have to do now that the wonderful Chiron is back with us.
Yay.
And then we have a lot to get to. I'm hoping we get through some travel, some nighttime shenanigans, as well as an encounter of kinds. It might be combat, it might be social. Honestly, who knows? It really depends.
Romantic.
Really, well.
No, we have like 8 episodes. An encounter.
It really depends how trigger happy everyone is feeling. And also, no, this is unfortunately Dungeons and Dragons, not a dating simulator. Anyway, moving right along, to recap. Recap is going to work a little bit weird, just because we do have a flashback, but the party engaged in one of Sandra's Wednesday night shenanigans, where she essentially just chooses an activity for the bar to do for that evening, and it seems like it has gained quite a large amount of popularity through many of the patrons of Dusttown, who always show up to see what kind of wackiness she can cook up. This week, in this example here, it was a drinking competition with a steep prize, and a lot of betting going on as the PCs and some of their close NPC companions joined in. Victorious at the end of it was Rare, who took the money and invested it actually in the inn itself. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But the other big thing that happened during that drinking competition was a searing kiss between Kat and Kai, who had previously rejected Kat's advance to him in his session 0 because he was gay. So this is a very confused Kat.
Very confused Kai and Ash.
And he proceeded to pass out halfway up the hallway to their room and was drugged into the tower by Kat.
And
The following
derobed by...
the following day, oh yeah, derobed by who derobed you
I
again?
think it was
Rare.
Paulette.
Rare.
Oh, it was Rare. Yeah, it was a drunk Rare that
Yeah,
derobed you.
Rare.
That is correct. The following day, we had some shopping was done by T and by Fen. We had some lore gathering being done by Arwen and Syl. They were able to get a lot of help from Colette actually, and she was able to inform you on the valley that you were going, and kind of give you some pointers, some do's and some don'ts, and kind of make your journey there a little bit easier, hopefully. After that, you retired for the night. We had a very heartfelt conversation between Rare and Syl, and everyone turned in for the night. But before we come to the morning, we come to the morning prior, in which
There's got to be a morning after.
which we come to a groggy, just barely coming to consciousness Kai, wearing only your small clothes due to the fact that Rare decided to punk you and derobe you.
Oh, it's called small clothes?
Your
Your unmentionables.
Oh, it's your redacted brand name boxer briefs. Like, what am I supposed to call them? Your any skivvies.
They're tiger pattern properly.
I've just never heard small clothes. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Well,
Crane's underwear.
yeah.
What?
Stop it. I know what you're trying to do, and I don't like it.
Oh.
Anyway, all right. So let's try and get through this real quick, just so we have a lot of stuff to go over tonight. But you find yourself coming to kind of groggy, head absolutely pounding from the hangover.
Where am
You are in a bed. It's soft. It's warm. You are under the blankets, and you are curled up right about here
There
in
it is.
someone. Your
I?
head.
Fendian.
Your head kind of like and in the crook of where arm meets torso meets neck, your head is just kind of like right in there. It is like the warmth of the bed and the body next to is like the only relief you have, just due to the absolute like pounding headache that you have going on.
Yeah, that's the only thing coming.
Focus.
I am. Go on, Ben, go on. Alright. I can't look at Audie during this whole thing.
The body underneath, the body that you are laying against, is also beginning to stir.
Oh no! I'll just rub the sleep from my eyes and kind of like feeling that I'm with someone. I just like I just open my eyes, look up, see who it is.
You are snuggled up to Kat,
Yeah.
who kind of like, since you are like half underneath the blankets, like your face even, you see that she is wearing like same kind of like small clothes on the bottom half, and then just like a really loose worn like white cloth that kind of wraps around her chest. So you are quite a bit of bare skin contact, but neither of you are completely naked.
Yeah, I'm like the session 0 where she's like, what if I just take all my clothes off?
She still had her bottom halves on regardless.
She thinks she's so slick. Alright. So she's still asleep, or like
She's
starting to wake up?
She's starting to wake up.
Are her eyes opening yet?
Yes.
I'll just close my eyes real quick. Pull a sneaky on her.
Honey, you asleep? Yes, Mom. I mean...
Make a deception check for me. See if she wakes up.
13.
13. All right, like you're able to do it, but she kind of like her eyes start to open. She starts stretching a little bit. She kind of like gives your shoulder like a gentle push.
I'll just like pretend to wake up, like stretch a little bit.
It's very convincing.
So convincing.
So I see you decided to come back to the land of the living.
Oh, I wish I didn't.
Yeah, you're pretty messed up there at the end of the night.
I think I still am. Not feeling too great.
No, I would imagine not. You Only made it as far as the hallway, unfortunately. Had to carry you back in here. As for your lack of clothing, you can thank Rare for that one.
Rare.
She decided it would be funny to steal all of your clothes while you were passed out in the hallway.
So funny. Yeah. So you carried me back in?
That is correct. I didn't want to just leave you out there. That seemed like not a nice thing to do.
Yeah. And can't help but notice I'm in your bed.
You certainly are. I figured that was potentially appropriate after your...
What? I just hear grunts.
Yeah, I hear
Like popcorn.
oh lord, she crunches.
Sorry, I won't. Oh, it's so hard. It's ice.
It's okay, go for it.
Yeah, it's ice. She doesn't have like a cup of chips that she's drinking out of.
I thought that might be appropriate given that stunt you pulled last night.
He's like clearly avoiding making eye contact.
Do you well, you know, I've never really been one to beat around the bush with things like this, so
she would. Sorry, go ahead. Ruin my life.
Do you remember what I said to you the very first night that we were together?
Said a lot of things.
Sometime
Including we can never come back to this tavern.
when we went to gather information at a tavern, and you asked me why a tavern, I told you because sometimes when people get drunk, they say some things and do some things that they don't mean to say and do.
Vaguely.
So, is that what that was then? Just a mistake on your part? Or did you mean to grab me by the front of my shirt and pull me into a kiss for a good 10 or 15 seconds in front of not only all of your companions, all of the other friends that we have made along the way here as well, along with about a quarter of the population of Dusttown? Or was that your intentions, or was that just the alcohol?
Yes.
That tragically was not a yes or no question.
Nervously drinks his water that doesn't exist.
I gave you a mug.
I didn't want to use it. Right. Wow, I certainly did say we'd have this talk in the morning, didn't I?
You did?
You shouldn't let me drink anymore. That was a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm avoiding the question.
Yes, you are.
How much longer am I gonna get away with that?
I'd say you have another 3 or 4 seconds at least.
Oh, fuck. Alright. Look, you remember earlier when you asked what to do if you liked somebody that was better than you?
I did. And your answer to that was kissing me.
That wasn't my answer. Who were you asking about before I humiliate myself?
That is not the question we're asking right now, and depending on your answer, that is potentially not even important.
Alright, well, I didn't have any advice to give you for that, because all I wanted to do when you asked me that question was the thing that I did when I was drunk, but I wasn't going to be able to do that thing if I wasn't drunk. And,
So, you're telling me that you can only do that when you're drunk?
let me feel it first.
Alright, well,
I could do it again when I'm hungover.
I was...
You just hear a fan from under the bed.
Ooh! Wait, is that still?
No.
No, he went downstairs for breakfast.
Wait, no, he was at his house actually.
Yeah.
You're home
No,
free.
everyone,
For now.
everyone thought best to leave you and Kat alone in the second room with the beds there, simply because of what had transpired previously the night before. But as you say that, Kat sort of nudges you to the side a bit, so that you are like, instead of being like on your side, kind of propped up against her, she kind of like nudges you to your back, and then since she drank less, rolls over so that she is straddling you and on top of you, and just sort of gives you a smirk before saying, you know, I really hoped you'd say that, and she kisses you.
Not Danny similar in my ass.
I need an ice pack.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Crunch.
More crunch frotty.
More crunch,
Crunch,
Friday.
crunch.
I'll reciprocate. She just feels him get really, really warm.
He's a tiefling after all.
That fast?
You know what? Retcon everything last night.
Alright, so continue on. Enough from the peanut gallery, lest we spend the first hour of the session on this.
Yeah, see.
Okay, I'll stop.
Okay.
So after, I would say probably a good 15 to 20 seconds of that, she finally pulls away and just goes, so, still good for you?
Yeah. Yep.
And what about that thing that you told me about your preferences that first night we spent together?
Right, that thing. See, I was very confident about that thing for most of my life. I've been on this earth 24 years, and most of those years I've known that. And you just took it, and you crushed it. So, I'm not sure where I'm standing with that, and it's kind of freaking me out, but... you know, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Not to come off as uncaring or anything, but I am happy to hear that answer. It is certainly better than the alternative, given that
The alternative?
you being gay, me being the kind of girl that I am,
I don't see it that way.
that is very good to hear.
Yeah, or else I, wouldn't be exploding. But
Already?
with that, he just pushes her off. Gets up out of bed.
Kind of can hear her like, just like cackling in the bed.
I'm gonna go look for my clothes. And I'm gonna forget you said that. And I'm gonna look for my clothes.
She also gets up from her bed because she walks over to like right by the door and picks up a pile of clothes and hands them to you. And I will say, being able to see the first time that you saw her when she had her like shirt off, and you discovered that she was the way that she is. She was also still like completely wearing like full pants. But as this only comes down to maybe like 2 or 3 inches down her thigh.
Does she got the legs though?
She's built very nicely.
do?
Yes, she do. And she got the booty. She do.
Booty.
She do.
She
She
do.
do. Vine references. But let me look something up real quick. You notice that starting, and maybe you had just previously missed this, but she has a fairly sizable tattoo of a crest that you are unable to identify on her ribs. And then on that, it's like on her left side, and then on her left leg, she has script that is about. Oh my God, you're adorable and I love you. Sorry, there was a.
Thank you.
I was about to say there was a kidder and he just did the thing. I loved it.
I can hear him
making munching sounds. Yeah, I was gonna say I can hear him crunching in the kitchen on his food.
Oh
Is that what
Lord,
you're
he
laughing?
munched.
Is
will.
over and
Larky
you're like,
crunch.
oh, you read the note.
Alright,
didn't you?
regardless.
Sure.
So you notice she has a fairly sizable crest tattooed on her ribs. You aren't able to immediately place what the crest is. And then on her left leg, starting just where the cloth is ending, so probably 3/4 of the way up her thigh, in script that is about 1.5 to 2 inches tall, is just phrasing in what languages do you know?
Common and infernal. Probably neither of those.
In a language that you don't immediately recognize. Actually, make a history check with disadvantage because you're drunk, really hungover.
Ooh, I still have a +5 though.
Wow.
15.
15.
Pretty good. For disadvantage.
Yeah.
You recognize that the script has a decent amount in common with some of the script that appeared in the hidden portion of the cave that you guys found the goods at.
Oh no.
Cast the final balls confirmed.
If you remember what language that script was written in. No, incorrect. But great guess, Audie. Thanks for playing.
Was it Sylvan?
No. It was connected to the beasts that were there that you found.
How dare you say beast when we have a drow right here?
Drow language? Like,
No.
I don't know.
Not
probably
not
my
I was
notes.
about to say not the sewers. The place where you went where Syl found his harp.
I just don't think Kai remembers.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's in my notes.
All right. Well, regardless, it's in a language that you don't recognize, and it goes around. It starts here and wraps all the way around, and then all the way around a second time. It's kind of like a band, like a 3-tiered band of just script that covers pretty much her whole left thigh.
Okay. As I'm getting dressed, I'll just kind of like look at it. Never noticed that before.
She just sees you like looking down at the
Shut
lower
up.
half of your body, so she looks down and looks back up and just
The
goes,
tattoos.
"Ah, of course."
You're doing well,
I
Kai.
saw you laugh and I was like, oh, I've made a mistake.
So I would have thought you'd put 2 and 2 together to figure out everything else by now. But no, thank you. Those are both fairly meaningful to me.
Please don't do that, gang, because you might spill it.
Sorry, I heard some otherworldly voice in my head being a dumbass.
Jeez.
Yike.
Alright, I'll go back to my writing.
Sorry. It's meant to be
But you
fun,
two,
it
I was
came
about to say,
harsh.
but you two get dressed,
Okay.
and
I sure do.
yeah, at this point it is fairly late in the afternoon. At this point, so you go down for breakfast. You go down for breakfast, even though it's like 3 or 4 p.m. at this point.
No, we didn't get up until 3 or 4 p.m. Thanks.
Everyone else runs into it when you were having your breakfast, because I'm pretty sure we did mention that.
Yeah, they just came down a little bit later.
Yes. And aside from that, the day otherwise passes by normally. You two are pretty lethargic, but when it comes to the end of the day, she would get into her bed and kind of slide over to the one side, kind of keeping the blankets open in invitations.
Oh, Cat?
Yes.
Later, like in the evening?
Yes, later at night when you guys are getting ready for bed.
Okay.
We're pushing through this day quick because we already RP'd it once, and I kind of want to push
Yeah, I
through.
figured.
So
I'll climb in.
You guys also find this note on the door.
Fendian's 3 wacky spelled wrong roommate rules. I hate this.
It's just 3.
Should I read it out loud?
Sure. It's quick.
No, I'll be reading it out loud to Kat. No
Fendian's
physical...
also under his bed sleeping.
Fendian's 3 wacky roommate rules. No physical merriment after 10 p.m. Some of us need to sleep. And he like looks around until he sees like Fendian like under the bed and he's like...
Come
Leave the decoy Indian alone, please.
There's a pile of pillows on top of the bed to look like somebody's sleeping.
I just kind of give Kat a look. If my
There's just three things.
if my night terrors awake you, just give me a swift kick in the ribs. Do you think he knows when the night terrors are happening? So, like, if I kick him in the
You're
ribs...
gonna hear, ah!
No, he's saying, like, if I kick him in the ribs, he wakes up and it's like, oh, sorry, you were having a night terror. That's just a really good excuse to kick him in the ribs.
Yeah, he'll just be like, oh, that's
Shit.
fine.
They realize you kick people in the ribs randomly.
Right.
He hopes that you understand
keeping
what the
this.
first one means.
Physical merriment. Past 10 p.m.
It's reasonable. That's all he leaves. Still goes to bed at 8, though.
Right.
I like to
Well, seems already kind of late, so I suppose
That's not
no.
Alright, you want to make that clear, huh?
As much as you want it, no physical merriment.
Yes, I was about to say, it is already rather late. I do not believe we are going to be able to get any physical merriment on tonight. That said, if he ever does anything that really pisses you off, if you wanna set up his bed for physical merriment, I can certainly bring a scroll of hold person to keep him under it.
Oh my god, that is
That is a lot.
Oh, how to traumatize somebody.
I'm like thinking that's too much, but Kai grins.
Ew,
What did
is
you
that-
No, it's definitely not
definitely
that.
not that.
What'd you say?
That's absolutely not the definition of that word. Don't you dare repeat
Oh
it.
god, no!
Don't you
And
dare
the
repeat
word
it.
Forced in front of it?
Yeah, no, I
No,
understood
it's
what you
still
said.
not.
It's still not that. Maybe if Kat and Fen were married and had been married for like 15 years, yes, but you're missing that, which is kind of the whole point.
Anyway,
Jesus Christ. Get out.
so what does your tattoo
Redacted.
mean?
Which one?
Either.
The one is a crest. The other is, it's just a phrase. It is a phrase that I tend to, it'll eventually go down my whole leg. It's half of a phrase, I should say. I'm just not quite sure how it's going to end yet.
Well, what is it right now? If you don't mind sharing.
Perhaps a story for another time. Maybe when you take me out on that, dinner that you promised.
Women. I get to stay. All right. Well, then-
She like chuckles, but also like pulls you in so that you can be Little Spoon.
Well, then maybe one day after you tell me that phrase, I'll show you something secret of mine too.
She's trying really, really hard not to make any kind of joke about it. She physically is biting her tongue, and she's just like,
It's a piercing. Calm down.
Oh, you hear from
She like
Well observed.
she looks at your face, and then
She does have a tongue piercing, just as a reminder.
she looks at your like what's visible on your face, and then she looks down towards your chest, which she had seen bare previously. Notices that there's no piercing there.
I should have given you nipple piercings.
Yeah, you done fucked up.
I done
I
fucked
mean-
up.
Yield piercing
You
shop.
can.
Come on. Yeah.
Oh wait.
I don't think there's a Prince Charles in this universe.
Next session. All right. Sorry. Go on.
But she looks at your face that she can't discern any piercings there, and then she looks at your chest, which she knows doesn't have any piercings on it. She looks back up in your eyes and she goes, and then proceeds to bed down for the night.
I thought it was gonna be like something like about him personally. A piercing? What?
It's supposed to be like because she had a tattoo that he didn't know about, so he would show a piercing that she doesn't know about.
Got it.
But it sounded like a dick joke.
Pat, do you mind removing the two pieces of the train there that are about to fall?
Do you mind
Remove it?
Do you mind removing the blonde from across the table?
That works too. I was just going to ask you to take them off but that's also fine. You fixed it. Good. Great. So
I did it. I got through it.
we got through that quicker than I thought we would. It did not take half the episode, and so as the morning of your guys' day of departure arrives, you all come to, some of you in slightly more awkward situations than others, given your current bedmates. The day is yours. What would you like to do.
Look at
Go
fall
ahead.
out of bed.
Well, we said we're going to leave at
New.
12.
Yes.
Did say you're going to
A new
live at
man.
noon? Yes. Right, so,
Do I have any mail?
do you have any mail? No.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the joke. Fendian roommates.
You should have done that.
There is one piece of mail. It is in an envelope, but it is addressed to the group as a whole, not to you specifically.
You can still read it first.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't come
You
down
read it
yet.
first?
Yeah.
It simply says on it,
Is it an Aquan?
yes.
That was good. That's funny.
It says on it, next week, on mission, this time next week, we need to meet. Important. And it is signed Rain.
So it is an Aquan.
He's a tiefling.
Get it? Cause rain.
Shut up.
I heard he has that drip.
So next week on mission. This time next week we need to meet. Important.
Yes.
Oh, so he's saying he's on a mission.
Yes.
But then the next week. Okay,
That
alright.
said, while reading it, you would know that between your journey to man, that is going off.
The Sylvanus Valley.
No, it's definitely not called the Sylvanus Valley.
That's just all I can remember.
Flanders.
I thought there was an
yeah.
S in it.
So you guys are going to the temple to investigate for your job. Then you guys are going through the valley in order to do Arwen's side quest. It probably will not put you back in town for around 8 days.
Darn.
He's devastated.
Yes. Fen, do you get up as normal and head down to breakfast?
Yeah.
Kai, you and Kat do the same? Mm-hmm. Syl, you wake up. Obviously not. Actually, no, you guys were in your bed. You wake up in your bed, still a small bundle of warmth curled up around you. The only unusual thing that you would notice is that she is curled up kind of in the same place where Kai's head was on Kat, kind of right here. And as I'm sure Syl does not sleep shirtless.
No, he has like a full night outfit.
Yes.
I don't know why, but my brain autofilled nightgown.
Yes, nightgown. He has like a little.
Like a Scrooge.
I
was
just
gonna say,
I just pictured Ebenezer Scrooge with the
No,
nightgown.
that's how I expected it.
Does he have a nightcap?
Yeah.
I pictured like a full on like a lace sheer nightie.
In bright red.
I could see him more in blue. Blue is black lace.
I was about to say light blue with black lace. Like he's like ye old fantasy like Harry Styles.
What? Imagine he had
Harry
like,
Styles
long
has been
socks
wearing all
with
the female clothing lately.
Where are you
I say
sure
female
still
in
your
It's just
shirt?
that outfit from
that
The
because
Sims
it's-
where it's the corset and undies.
Yeah. All right. So regardless, you come to and the nightgown right where Rare is laying, right near where her face is. You just notice that your nightgown is slightly damp.
Oh wait, where her face is.
Oh, I was like, did she pee?
Oh.
I was about to say I
I
did specifically say face.
I didn't hear the word face. I just heard where Rare is, and I'm like, ooh.
Nope, I did. I
makes
specifically
more
said
sense for it
face.
to be
I was like, where Rare's face is. Where Rare's what is? Her crotch? Is that what you said?
I was like, oh, that's
It's fine. No, it's totally my fault. If you say them really slow, face and crotch do rhyme.
I'm so sorry.
I would say I'm not the bad one this episode.
What?
I'm not the bad one.
Yeah. So you come to and your nightgown is a little bit wet where her face is.
Did she look like she was crying?
Absolutely.
Recently?
Yes.
Oh.
It's like tear, like that kind of like tear stained look that you get on your face when you cry really hard is just down both cheeks, and like the area around her eyes seem rather irritated.
Is she awake?
No.
You don't have dreams that make you cry?
All the
Not in
time.
real life. Not real.
Not sure awake.
How hardly do you nudge her? Yeah, she's still gonna be asleep.
Okay. Then a bit harder.
She'll finally start like coming to. Kind of roll over a bit before she kind of like blinks awake, like looks up at you. Her eyes are pretty like bloodshot and definitely irritated.
You were crying?
No?
Right. So we're gonna start lying to each other.
It's not important. Bad dream.
About what?
Not something that I want to talk about.
Very well. Well, it is morning, and I know we don't have long till we leave for the mission. I suggest that you should, at the very least, spend some time in a bath, just so others don't see you recently cried.
Right. She will get up. Just out of curiosity, what is your passive insight?
What is that?
That is 10
10
plus
my insight?
your insight, yes.
15.
That's actually quite high.
Yeah. It would have been 14, but the harp.
Alright, give me 1 second to pull up a character sheet then.
Character sheet.
Precisely.
I just keep hearing that last laugh that you did.
I don't know what it sounded like. Probably like a dead man.
Cackling.
That was terrible. Man, I can't roll shit with these dice tonight. I might have to switch before we get to the battle. Otherwise, not only will the enemies be rolling bad, but all the NPCs that I'm rolling for will not hit anything.
Try this.
That's better. Great. But still, that is... I already made my roll for that. Just because your passive insight is so high, I had to roll deception against it, just because
Okay.
I'm not used to characters having passive insight that high. Normally that is a looked over skill. But when she's...
First skill I took.
But when she says bad dream, you can tell that that's probably not the case.
Okay.
But she will get up and begin to gather her things to head to the bath.
Okay.
But yeah, you like as she says it, you kind of just get like a kind of vibe from it.
Alright. You'll get changed for the day and we'll meet the others down for breakfast.
Alright, so all of you down for breakfast. Some of your NPC companions start to meet you eventually. Gab comes down. Luna and Arwen will come down. Others are taking a bit longer. Arwen brings with her the wormling, scampering about the table, just being a...
Do it.
The wormling gets half of my breakfast.
It's like a nurse.
I was about to say the wormling comes over and you kind of are you like just like feeding it on the plate or like feeding it by hand?
Oh, by hand.
Fork feeding it.
This queen gets hand fed.
To say, yeah, she's kind of surprisingly enough, with how much you guys have been playing with her and like training her so far, she's taking a fair bit of care to make sure that she does not accidentally nip your fingers as she is but as she eats the bacon, just and then will come and like
I know,
come and
isn't
nap
it
it, and then
delicious? Pigs are such wonderful creatures.
after she's done eating, she'll just kind of like flop down next to you and kind of just be like,
Isn't she precious?
We're hoping
Whenever I
this is-
joined the
oh,
table, I'd have the original letter and I'd like throw it in the middle of the table and be like, we got this. And then I'll throw another piece of paper where in common, in like very shit handwriting, I've written, also on mission, be back in 8 days or not your fucking lackeys.
Oh, I do believe I like your response.
Charming.
Just about as charming as he is.
as you guys are sitting down for breakfast. Colette also comes in, though she comes in from the front door. And she is wearing the same clothing that you saw her in the day prior. She looks a little bit the bottom of her skirt that she was wearing is a little bit like frayed and kind of dirtied up, and there is also because her sleeves came down to about here, there is like a white cloth that is wrapped around her left arm that has like a little bit of blood soaked through it. She kind of comes in and nods to you guys.
Rough night.
More
Tea.
skeletons?
She would just like look at Sil, like hoping he asked about it because she doesn't know her like that.
I'll be the first one to say it. Well, you look like shit.
Well,
Hi,
it is,
I'm going to smack you with my mage hand. Rude! You don't
It
speak
is-
to a lady like that.
it is good to know that I look
And the
like
shoulder knock.
how I feel. So just very long night up at the palace. Some just a couple of accidents.
More skeletons?
Not quite like that, but of just the general unbelievable, fantastical nature. Yes. What
Well,
if
you know what
she
they
kind of
say.
she kind of looks over your papers? What have you guys got there?
Nothing really.
Breakfast.
An annoyance.
Oh, the note.
Kind of looks over it. That is that tiefling that you all went to meet that one night. Yes.
I think
Lovely person.
Unfortunately.
didn't only
I,
like 2 or 3 of you went to meet.
Yeah, I think only.
Also,
Us two and Alton.
Alton now has came with us.
Well, it's I've seen him around a couple of times. He's
Stupid.
normally always running with the guild, but it's what did you guys talk about that night, if you don't mind me asking? It seems rather weird that he is reaching out to members who are not of the guild like this.
He can't take a hint.
I just like look to Syl like. Like, do you shake your head in character?
Just like a slight.
Okay. So he's just gonna be like, fuck if I know. He's just pissed off because I didn't let him pickpocket me and Alwyn beat him in a game of fucking gambling or some shit like that.
Make a deception check.
Oh.
That's not the best. 9.
Oh, I thought that was a 1. That's a 7.
Yeah.
Thank God.
All I saw was that like one line and I just looked away.
So what was it, 9? She has a +6 to insight, so unless she rolls absolutely terribly,
Well,
Ah, you've got to be kidding me.
that's a natural 20. So she looks at you and just goes, I've made you breakfast the last couple of days, so I just want you to do, and I've refused your payment from it. So, in order for you to pay me for it, I would like you to repeat the following sentence as I say it, okay?
Uh-oh.
Colette.
she won't respond.
Colette.
That is personal information, and I don't want to tell you. You're allowed to say it to me, come on.
Guy's just laughing.
He doesn't. She just gives like a very like a huff.
I think that was just primordial. The rest of it was primordial to how you say it, right? It's a
I don't.
language.
I was at to say in primordial. She'll say, I do not believe so.
I think you just I think Colette sneezed. Bless you.
Guy
Sorry.
just laughs harder and he's like, I love Baldur's Gate.
He will sigh again and be like, "Look, it's dangerous, and I'm not involving anyone that isn't already involved." Mm-mm.
Well, I'm just simply saying it's obscure that he wants to meet with you. I am been aware of who he is. I have
How
met
exactly
with
is
him.
that?
Met with what?
How exactly is that you know of him?
Because I am very well aware of guild activity in the city, especially concerning one of their faces, such as him, because he is one of the few members that has the balls, so to speak, to conduct business in the lower parts of the town, as well as occasionally conduct some business up near the palace. So I've become very well acquainted with him. I've even met with him once when he attempted to secure my services for a specific thing that he wanted.
Kai, I have no idea what they're saying.
She got
They sound
proposition.
mad. They sound mad.
They're talking of Primordial.
Oh, man.
They sound
I obviously told him to stick it, but still,
Something similar.
it's I know of him at least, but it seems odd that he is reaching out to you again, especially after what you have done in the sewers.
Maybe they don't know.
I think that would be wishful thinking, for being honest. But I know you were going to be gone longer than that. If you would like, I am staying back from this mission. I will not be accompanying you, as I do have my work to do. At the palace, so if you would like me to meet with him, I certainly could do that and report to you if he had anything useful to say. If not, then I certainly don't mind kicking him out of wherever we choose to meet. I will certainly make sure to not go alone. And plus, this way I can maybe unsettle him a bit and learn some information for us as well. I can have him meet me somewhere where maybe he's not expecting to have to meet, somewhere where I can have a little bit of an advantage.
I don't want to involve you in something that might get you killed.
I think you'll find that I can be quite hard to kill. I would not worry about that. Like I said, I am not dumb enough that I would try to do this alone. But could be a good... If he's attempting to bullshit you guys, could be a good way to know that they're onto you, good way to gauge what they know, and if he does actually have something useful to say, then might still be good to have.
She would look around at the group, seeing if anyone has any opinion on it.
We
She's
don't know
talking
what
in
yours-
primordial.
So, not to be rude, but we don't know what's happening.
I offered to go to your meeting that you were summoned to.
Oh, no, we're not
For you.
entertaining that. Oh, no. We don't want anything to do with them.
Well, no,
I
but
think it's disgusting that he's even trying to reach out to us. I feel like we made it pretty clear we don't want him to talk to us. We don't want anything to do with the guild.
it still could be a good way to gather information.
Okay, can you gather this information for him? Ask him why he won't leave us alone. Ask him why he's stupid and why he won't leave us alone.
I like sassy Fendian.
I'm becoming quite frustrated with the fact that this man can't take no for an answer.
I mean, it is the guild
Sorry.
it is the guild you are talking about. They are certainly not used to it. But if he is still entertaining the idea of attempting to acquire your services, I can certainly tell him no, but before I tell him no, I can attempt to glean some information from that.
Good, and then he can acquire a swift
And-
kick in the pants.
I certainly can do that as well. Believe me, I have already delivered that to him once when he came searching for
I
me
like you.
personally. But
Good.
if he is coming to pay you back for the work that you did to the guild in the sewers, then it's also fairly useful to you because I can not only potentially get the drop on him, but also that allows us to know that they picked up that information already, and it also lets me know that they have someone in the docking district to let that slip to the guild, so that can maybe narrow down a search that I have going on as far as who might be dropping them information, which is useful information for me to know and very bad information for people who are working for the guild in the docking district.
It is true. Well, I suppose if it involves him and the guild getting a little... He does some shitty
Karate
fighting
move.
moves.
It looks very impressive to T.
It's like watching YouTube videos of nerds using katanas, cutting water bottles. That's what it's like
This
for
is my
T to
katana.
watch. Anyway, well, I suppose I don't particularly mind as long as it's made clear we don't put anything to do with him.
I will not be signing up your services for that. You have my word on that one.
I don't know what the rest of the group's consensus is, though. Excuse me.
Arwen just shrugs and just goes, I mean, sounds good to me.
It's about what I would have expected.
I've got nothing better to do.
T will
Well, you wouldn't have to do anything.
sigh for way too fucking long. Before
How big are your lungs?
It's
primordial,
just half argonacy.
I asked him for information. If he has that information, I need it. And
Simply tell me what
do
it is, and I
whatever-
will
whatever he
attempt to extract it. Or just generally.
I've asked him explicitly if he has the information. I will do whatever I need to.
Noted. In that case, if he does seem to have it and he's not bullshitting about that, maybe instead of giving him a swift kick in the rear, I tie him up and leave him in Gabonai's house for a day or something.
Kinky.
Let you walk in on that when you get back.
Yeah, alright.
Nothing from you.
You got group consensus. You don't need any more yeses.
I'd still like it.
Or if it's a no.
I mean, I see pros and cons to both of saying yes and no to it.
Worried about me?
More about T's information. I'm more worried about that. Because if T's not there, there's a good chance he won't spill it or even reveal where that information may be.
Yeah, well, that's why if it seems like he has it, then I can leave him in a situation where you can interrogate him upon your return.
I'm just worried that information's time sensitive a bit.
Well, unless T tells me exactly what I'm searching for and what questions I need to ask, that would unfortunately be the best that I can do. But if he does drop any leads, I can certainly follow those as well. After all, this is something I'm very good at, and I certainly have access to some resources that most people do not. But I will inform him that you guys are mostly not interested in working with him, and you have my word that I will do the best to procure whatever information it was you asked him to retrieve. And I also most likely won't get myself killed.
Not most likely. You better not.
I don't think so. I'm too stubborn to die.
Where have I heard that statement before?
And plus, I also
She just said it, right?
can't die yet.
I really do.
There's someone very important to me that I need to continue looking after. She'll kind of like, as she says that, kind of like walk up to Gab and kind of muss her hair a bit.
Tina would just be like, I understand that.
Yes, we probably about six or so years ago lost our parents. So after that, I've been doing my best to provide for us and to look after her.
Oh, they're sisters.
They are sisters.
I feel
They
really
were
sick. I
roommates.
thought she was just like a girl that like Colette met and was like, all right, you're pretty cool. I'm gonna protect you.
No,
That
there's
makes so much more
Yes,
sense.
Both say no, they are.
half Ganassi.
I thought
Yeah, I was
okay, I
about to
thought
say they're
that Colette
sisters.
was just like a regular like elf lady with like brown hair. That didn't look like Gab.
no. It's actually curious. As she walks by you, you get like a whiff of her hair since it is
Oh, okay.
down. It smells very, very similar to how your hair smells.
What the fuck does that mean?
Oh, I know what that means.
Oh.
Zemin.
You guys use the
Oh
same
yeah,
brand shampoo?
it's the same shampoo. We're washing our hair. Oh,
Like hair dye? Hmm.
Can't no.
Yeah, it smells like Manic Panic. Great. Good detective work there.
Fedian shows up like this.
It's just such a weird thing to say. Your hair
That's
smells
like,
similar.
He shows up like Scene.
I almost spit my water.
I'm sorry.
All right,
Mom.
stop that right
Stop.
now. Get out.
It's
Stop
just
it.
the Justin Bieber though.
It's not working.
It's
You
not.
what?
You fucking what, mate? All right, so yeah, but she musses Gab's hair, and Gab kind of just like does it like embarrassed, like, but then also like leans back into her a little bit. It seems they are very close.
Oh, that's wholesome. Well, hair thing's none of my business. Anyways, what time is it in game now?
It's about 9 or 10 a.m. now. You guys have about 2 hours
Time to
left
get up.
before you guys head out.
I want it to be new so I can get my armor.
Well, if no one has anything else to do, time would eventually continue to pass. Eventually, Rax and Autumn make their way down. Not only that, but they make their way down. They have like armor and weapons with them. Luna would go back upstairs for a second before she came back down. She has kind of like a couple of bags of like supplies and stuff that she's bringing.
Then yep, I would. Ooh, I'm gonna get my horse too. I'm gonna ride my horse.
Not to say, if there's anything that you all would like to specifically bring, that would be a good time to mention it.
I bring everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bring most of my stuff, and then like since you did mention my horse has saddlebags, I also bring some books for the road, just like some for reading.
I also bring mouse with me.
Yeah.
But I just have him like sleeping in my bag.
I'll have my book and my staff, and also the dagger strapped to it.
Yeah. As I say, Rax comes down with like all of her armor and her weapons. Between Rare and Autumn, they bring, it looks like, enough food to feed your guys' party for like the day's travel there and the day travel back.
Because I didn't have enough money for rations. I do have cooking pots.
So wait, how long is the trip?
No, I think we're
It's
here,
about
strictly
it's about
goals.
3/4 of a day to get there, and then 3/4 of a day to get back. It's just you guys are leaving around midday so that you can.
But then we're also going to the valley
I was about to say you guys are going like further than everyone else is going is the thing. So yeah, it's just that they brought like 2 days worth of stuff so they can like camp on the way there, camp on the way back, and then it'll be good. You could get there all in one day, but you would arrive to the temple at like nightfall, which given the suspected abyssal nature of these problems,
Knight had mentioned that.
yeah,
like,
I was
timed it all out.
about to say Knight had mentioned that maybe like trying to fight like a demon army, at night was probably not the smartest
night.
idea, especially when you will be fighting in a location where they are already present inside of, so they would have kind of the upper hand in that regard. So she mentioned that it would be, especially because there are party members who do not have night vision.
That sucks to suck.
Say specifically, she would know that T as well as Cat don't have night vision. There might be some other ones too, but I know those two at the very least both don't.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, Gab doesn't either because I remember she had to cast fairy fire or something.
Oh,
Or
that's
dancing
right.
Lights.
Yeah, that's right. Gab also does not have.
We'll just be
night
there
vision.
seeing eye.
Half elf. But yeah, so you guys
I'll
get
be your guide.
ready to depart. Finally,
Sorry.
finally strolling up, wearing no armor but a plethora of daggers on her person is Knight, and in kind of like nicely polished prefect's half plate mail, as well as two, curiously enough, not swords but two pommels, hilts, and like the, what is that part of
The haft?
the half?
Crossguard?
Yes, like the and crossguard.
It's like everything but the blade.
Everything but the blade, kind of
She will
tucked.
make magic swords.
One of those tucked in on each side of her person is Aqua.
Aqua is the one with the blue hair, right? Or no?
That is
Okay.
correct.
Wasn't sure if you did like a twine knots. They switched or.
No, it is
Okay.
it is Knight who has red hair. They both have the same color eyes.
Which is.
Let me look this up, but I'm all.
What's that word for like?
I hit the wrong
when
button.
You
Oops.
have a lot of weapons, like you're heavily
Heavily
armed?
armed.
That's what I'm looking for.
Legged.
What did you say?
Elbowed.
Trapped?
Armed.
Oh, you
I said strapped.
I was strapped.
She packing.
Strapping on live.
She sure is strapping that loud. I'm sorry.
I have to say,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
she's a little bit thief-like. She might be like pickety pockety for coomsa clockety.
Rooty tooty, rough and shooty.
Then I start blasting.
So, anyways, I started casting.
They both have like very light baby blue eyes.
Oh.
For Aqua, it kind of matches her hair perfectly. For Knight, it's kind of like very offset from her, because it's not like orangish hair. Like it is like Audie's coloring in her sheet like red hair.
It's not the mug that's
I liked the shade that you were coloring your sheet better.
Thank you.
Shut up.
What race are they? Like T's never met them. So.
They appear to look elven. They have no other defining racial features aside from their Aqua's a little bit paler than Knight is. Knight is also showing like a lot more skin, so it's easier to see it. But they have pointed ears, and they're not. I was gonna say, yeah, and they're not like half elf pointed either. They are like fairly elongated.
But not like what's that game where their ears are like out here and their eyebrows are like out here?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Not wow, but whoa.
Whoa.
WOH.
I don't. Why
Anyways,
eyebrows?
I'm going to go to Zenim to get my armor, and I'm going to go on my horse, which I don't think I named it. I'm gonna name
You've
it.
not.
I'm gonna name it Gooseberry.
Aw.
Your horse Gooseberry. Before you do set off, just because they would coming up to the suites, they would have horses for everybody just to make the traveling a little bit quicker. Though upon coming up to you, Fen, Knight would just be like, well, we had it budgeted out to give horses to everybody,
I
but
bought
you
this guy.
but you already have your own, so congrats, you saved us this money, so I don't know, get something nice, and she'll toss you 5 gold pieces is the horse rental fee.
Oh, thank you.
So-
Everybody's getting free money but Kai.
Well, I mean, I was about to say, to be fair, Audie's getting it because she spent money on a horse.
No, I know.
All right, so we're
now I
going.
just need 45
we are-
more free gold and I've earned him back.
We are going across the bridge to head out of the city. So let's go.
Oh wait.
Alright, then I just need to stop at Zen to get my armor.
Oh, that's on the
It's on
way.
the way.
That's on the way. So that's fine. So,
Runs right next to
I was
your
about to
war
say you don't even need to run. Everyone would wait while you run inside to get your armor.
He's so excited.
All right, so you come in to get your armor.
I open the door. I'm here.
Oh, wait, can I go too? I want to get some potions.
Sure. All right, so you would throw. Nothing.
He also
Nothing.
got
Nothing.
potions.
Yeah. But you open the doors. You would see the now familiar face of Anastriana as well as Gwenistry sitting there, both kind of just like talking to each other at the front counter before she looks up. Oh, Mr. Fenderman, you're back.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Oh.
Not ready.
All right. We actually, Gwen just finished with your armor just a little bit ago.
Splendid.
So yes. And the enchantment was successful.
Cool.
It's not much, but you.
He's really excited.
It's still. I mean, it's still pretty cool. If I'm being honest, I can't do magic myself, so it's a little strange
Something
to
is
me.
better
But
than nothing.
I think it's fairly useful, especially for an adventurer such as yourself. All right, come on, we'll go get it for you. So you guys.
He's like,
You guys go in there.
Alrighty.
In the armor making room, you see there's Scale as well as Mr. Thorn standing there as well. Yes. Scale just goes, "Oh, you. All right. So we just finished your armor. Let me go get it real quick. You already paid for it, right?" And
Yes,
Nostradamus
yes,
kind
yes,
of
yes.
nods. And he's just like, "All right." Goes and gets it, brings it up to you. It is still like the kind of gray leather.
Mhm.
Though with the thing that they like the enchantment that they've done to it, it is almost now like what's the color I'm trying to think of? It is almost like that color where you can't quite discern whether it's gray or like a really really light leaning towards gray blue.
Oh my god, that's like my favorite color to use for armor. So I know
So-
which one you mean.
So it's kind of like shifted towards that.
Mhm.
Yes. The and you got studded leather, right?
Yes.
The metal studs that are in it are made of onyx, so they're not just like
Oh
gray
my
metal.
god,
It is like
this
black.
is so. You
Um,
really all went above and beyond. Oh, I'm so excited.
And then on the it is kind of it's like designed nicely, but it's rather plain along like the chest pieces as well as like the leg guards and the back piece. The one thing that is not plain are the arm guards. On both arm guards, which
on.
they have like the pauldron pieces,
Yes.
but specifically the pieces that go here. They go here, and then it has a sort of triangular piece that extends, that is actually made of metal that extends, kind of in like a
That's kind of like the same shape he has of his long sleeve. They have like a little triangle part that goes here.
yes, and it's almost like it's three-dimensional too. Like it kind of like comes up like a pyramid and sort of goes like bloop,
Oh,
bloop,
oh, cool.
and extends like almost over your whole hand, but doesn't go underneath, so your hands are still like free to do any sort of like
yeah.
casting type of things. But the leather here, because the leather runs uninterrupted all along like right here, has in the same black color as your studs, has like black tracing ink kind of like scrawled all over it. And so we'll hand that over to you. You will put it on if you would like.
Yes.
It's like, all right. So, aside from just being a pretty swell piece of armor here, the enchantment, what it does is once a day it'll let you know if anything nearby is magic or not.
Ooh.
And so, recharging with one charge, the charge recharging at dawn, you can cast the spell Detect Magic once per day with no material or any sort of components needed.
Fancy. Ooh, I'd rather like that. That'll
Yes.
come in handy.
Just make sure when you do that, the glyphs on it will light up like real bright, like light blue. So if you're trying to be sneaky about detecting magic, it's probably not good for that.
Understood. Oh, no problem. I'll leave
In a
that.
dark cave, tech magic, your armor lights up and there's just like goblins.
Hey, I'm glowing blue around goblins. Just like that tale from long ago.
That's a Sting joke.
Okay.
Rhymes with Schmobbit.
Oh,
Anyways, thank you so much. I didn't expect so much work to be done in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate it.
No problem at all. All right, Snow.
And so did he and Damien both work on it?
We both worked on it, and the enchantments were done by, we have a fellow named Lorcan, who I believe you met.
Oh yeah, look. So well, here's 5 gold as a tip for all 3 of you. This is all I have left.
Thank you.
So thank you.
We look forward to.
I just came into it recently.
We look forward to any other business that you need.
I certainly shall be
5
back.
minutes ago.
Thank you.
All right. So what did you want to pick up?
Some potions in case I run out of spell slots.
All right. So that's gonna be, and points over towards Gwen and just goes. That'll be the 2 of us here. Myself and an Austriana are both. I handle more of the enchantment side of things. She is a fairly skilled alchemist in her own right. Anna, do you want to maybe go get some of the things that you have? And she'll run off and grab them, kind of come back. She's like, all right, so we have a couple of options here for you. We have 2 styles of, I'm guessing you want potions of healing.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 2 styles of your more standard healing potions. We have a regular potion of healing. This is 50 gold. Then we have your greater potion of healing. Those are 250 gold pieces, and sets that down. If you're more on a budget, like your purpley friend was, your other purpley friend was,
Wow.
yeah. We also have this. It is a potion of, we call it a potion of probable healing. She pulls out, and it's still the same color as like a potion of healing, but it has like some light blue and some silver swirls kind of going through it.
Like
Yeah.
It'll always work.
It'll always heal you. It just has a couple of pretty contained side effects that go along with it. And then if that's 35 gold pieces, and then if you're really on a budget, then we have, and she pulls out, it is like
Potion of really probable healing.
a slightly red tint, but for the most part, this is all like silvery blue. And she'll set that on the table and just be like, that is a potion of helpfulness.
Potion of maybe.
It will heal you all of the time. That said, that one has a bit more. We kind of cut some costs with some different ingredients, some of which came from a recent excursion to the Feywild.
Oh.
So the
Wow.
side effects are a little peculiar.
Like.
Well, let's see. I was telling your friend this the other day. We had our associate here, Gore, drink it after he had gotten bitten by one of the creatures that we have. All of his hair fell out, but within 25 minutes, it actually all grew back in.
I just touched his hair.
So that was a little odd. And then we had Scale drink one, and he actually got suddenly 3 feet taller, and then he turned orange. But then like an hour later, he was back to normal. So it's just like some stranger stuff like that. Oh, and then we had our weapons master Flint drink it, and he kind of started shooting lightning out of his hands. So that was pretty cool. So it seems like they have very, very wide a variety of effects. But this one is only 20 gold pieces if you are really on a budget. Oh, and then also do you have your staff and book on you right now?
Yeah.
Also, it looks like you're more of like the spellcastery like pew, pew type.
Sure.
Cool. Then we also have something else for you. She goes and picks up a potion, and it is, think like a bigger potion of this. So this is a potion of mana. This will help you kind of like, if you're feeling yourself kind of tapped from all the spells you're casting, kind of give you a little boost. If you drink the mana potion, you will regain any first or second level spell slot of your choice instantaneously.
How much is that?
This is 65 gold pieces. She'll set it on the table. It is like a really like nice, beautiful, deep blue color.
Seriousness?
When she was like, "Oh, here's your basic healing potion, 50 gold," looks down at my 48 gold.
No, you have 50 more.
What? Wait.
We turned in our quest.
Oh.
Yeah, you do have 50 more.
Well,
Also,
well then.
also, did you hear about what
What?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was fast.
This is what we'll do.
Did I hear about? Did you buy some of the
A healing
weird
potion.
potion?
No, I bought a healing potion from here.
Yeah, because I remembered you bought a normal one. You didn't
Yep.
buy one of the. So why are you laughing the whole time?
Because bulk is on.
No, before that.
I was watching it.
No, because they, when they turn in. All right, so I've just been texted to all of our audience members at home and to all of you guys. I have just been texted by one Cassidy West to purchase a potion of helpfulness.
I don't trust any of you.
I would
Um,
love full disclosure out of character if you guys can use a potion of helpfulness on me. I want to know what it does.
Oh, I was absolutely gonna wear that.
But no, T was you would know this. Potentially once you guys get back, there is a bigger job waiting for you. The Grand Duke as well as Duchess Thalamra said that they had bigger jobs now that you guys have proven yourself
Yeah.
after you got back. And offered to, since he paid you guys 50 gold pieces each for the first job, offered to immediately give you a 10 times raise, where the job would pay each of you 500 gold pieces the next time you completed it. So keep in mind that there is more potential money waiting for you ahead.
I have a heart attack.
Kai just remembers this fact and just has a heart attack in Venom and dies.
We were all like, oh, we don't want to make a decision without Kai. I'm like, the guy who says yes to all the money, he's gonna want to do it.
Okay, so
Is there anything in particular that you're that I can get for you then?
hold on, I'm trying to remember the prices. The
Mana potion is 65.
Okay.
Potion of standard healing is 50. The potion of probable healing is 35, and then the potion of helpfulness is 25.
I'll take 2 of the helpfulness.
2 of the helpfulness. All right, here you go.
Nobody
Could've-
cuts me off.
So even with how, so she hands you the one, which I said is like
You're gonna raise
mostly
a friend.
mostly blue and silver with like a tint of red. She hands you another one, and it is like golden yellow with like swirls of red going through it, but they look nothing alike. She's like, yeah, and like if you like look down at it all quizzically, she'll just be like, they're all pretty different.
I'll tuck them into my bag. So that would have been 50 gold. Why are you laughing? Because you know I'm gonna use them.
What? No, I'm just
You're excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
This is troll bathwater all over again.
Oops, Fendian's blind now.
And the mana was 65?
That is correct.
Oh, well, it's a good thing I don't have money for that now. I guess that's good for now. That's fine. It'll be fine.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna buy them in a bulk, we might be able to cut you a deal. Let's see. Mana 65. Those 2 potions are 25. Kind of looks over to Gwen and just goes, "Give us 1 second," and they just kind of she holds her ear for a second before letting it go.
I'm getting
You
a
s-
bargain.
You see Thea walk in. It's just like, "Hey, is that okay if we do?" And it kind of leans back over. So we can give you all 3 for 100 gold pieces in total.
Oh, boo, it's
Do
a
you,
baby
are you adding up your
boy.
gold and silver as well?
Oh, no.
My what now?
How much is
Oh yeah, you're at
Silver to
98 gold.
how much silver makes 1 gold piece?
10. It's like the metric system.
I have 17.
You need a gold piece.
I
How
need
much
two.
how much copper do you
I'll
have?
give you 2 gold
15.
pieces.
15. Yeah, I was about to say. So you have
I have
so,
15 copper and 17 silver.
so yeah, so you have you have 90 you have
Freaking gold
99.5 gold.
Okay.
Are you there?
Oh,
I'm
We're
right
outside.
outside.
Oh.
you come out, Daddy, I need money.
Actually, seeing that you have 98 gold and you look really sad at it, Cat would have followed you in and just go. You would just hear under your
Buy yourself something pretty.
you would just hear something under her
That was
breath.
Cat.
In a language you don't understand before you just feel like a tap on your shoulder, and it's just Cat holding out 2 gold pieces.
I'll look at it and just be like, I couldn't.
But I am.
Don't worry, you'll pay me back when we get back into town.
Thank you, Mommy.
That makes me worried, and
I
then I'll
know you
hand
might
it
not
over.
want to sleep in the room that night.
Listen, the other room's full. I don't know what to tell you. It's a whole tower. They can
Full.
do it wherever they
Full,
need
I tell you, full. Just wait until you get back. Ha 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 ha. Sandra has plans.
She's gonna add another whole.
to. Here's 5 doppelgangers that are going to look like random housemates. Good luck figuring out who.
That'll be next.
It's just all
That'll
the
be
people that we're
next.
running from
I
in
was
our
about to say that'll be
backstories.
next Wednesday's scheme. All right, so you have a mana potion now and 2 potions of helpfulness.
Sweet.
I unfortunately don't have a mana potion replica to hand you, but I will have a potion of helpfulness to hand you come the break. But I can get up and get them from the other room. Thea, did you buy 1 potion or 2 potions while you were there?
Thea.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's she talking to?
I
T.
did that
Sorry.
last session too. I looked her dead in the eyes and went, what do you think, Thea?
I bought 2 potions, one of which is a regular healing potion.
Yes. All right, and then Cass is getting 1 potion of helpfulness.
We are all.
Anybody else
best
doing
of
anything
friends.
before you depart?
Ow, I stubbed my toe. I hope nobody gives me a potion.
Suffer.
Yeah, no,
Alright, so everyone departs from the city. You begin on your quest. Just a general. Can we get a marching order for everybody?
I'll stick. Actually, I'll stay to the back. I mean, Gooseberry.
Knight and Aqua are gonna lead because they know the way, right?
That's correct.
I'll be like right behind them.
I'll be like behind Jay, frontline healer.
Alright, everyone will be somewhere in the middle.
I'll be towards the front this time, only because he's all happy about his new potion, so it's like
Everyone
trotting
else,
ahead.
everyone else follows along. Are you attempting to just, ride at a fairly
Yeah, I guess I'll also like check frequently and make sure like we're not being followed suspiciously.
make
Wait, is
a
Cat with us?
yeah. There's
Yeah, there we go.
I believe 12 people and one wormling with you. If I'm not mistaken on my counting.
So it's us, Arwen, Cat, Knight,
13.
and Aqua.
13.
13 in total. That's the number we came to last time.
Got you.
And 2, Gab.
So it's the five PCs, and then you have Night Aqua, Rax, Autumn, Luna, Gab, Cat,
Okay.
And rare.
and Rare.
So like
Yes.
everybody.
And the wormling, so 14.
Yeah. So 14.
13 and a half.
I was
14
about to say. So you have 13 people. You have 13 people on horses. The wormling is kind of much to the horse's chagrin is kind of like riding along with Autumn.
Like on the back.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, there's a predator on me.
But after probably 20 or 30
Just the thing
minutes,
that
the
cats
wormling
do, like,
making biscuits, making mincemeat.
Does a wormling purr? I can see it.
It does. If you're like giving it scritches in the right places, it'll purr. But after probably about 30 minutes of travel, it'll kind of like get towards the back of the saddle of the horse and just kind of like put up its wings and just kind of like fall back a little bit and then kind of like.
Oh, she practicing flying.
Well, no, she actually like takes off and she's only about like 10 or 15 feet above the group, and you just kind of like.
The old parachute.
I was about to say she's like flying and kind of like will glide down a little bit and then flap her wings pretty. She has to like flap pretty hard in order to like
I'm
stay.
gonna cry.
To stay aloof, but she's like, you can hear like as she's getting to fly in like the open sky, you hear like a lot of excited yipping coming from her.
fuck.
Goodbye. Sorry about that. We will get right back into it because I know exactly where we went down this time. All right. So we have the marching order. The dragon's kind of like flying along here.
You were
A lot
gonna
of
tell me to make a
very
roll.
happy yipping. Yes, make a perception check as you are kind of looking around to see if you're being followed.
So, oh, it was almost a nat 20. So, P. Oops, sorry, that's my 12.
12.
Yeah. I mean, it's daytime too, so you know. Oh, actually, I have to make it with a disadvantage. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm
that's
down
right.
the drow. So yeah, no, it's still a 12.
Oh,
Cool.
So isn't like aren't your eyes sensitive in the light?
Yeah.
Yes.
If I'm making perception
So
checks in the
what's
daytime.
Yeah. Yield ray bands.
Can I be like keeping an eye out ahead of us to make sure we don't go into any like ambushes or anything?
Make a perception check.
It was pretty good.
Oh, okay. 16.
16. All right. So first off, for you, Fen,
Yes.
as you kind of like crest towards the top of the hill, you look back, and at the top of 2 hills over, probably in between a quarter mile and a half mile, to your like back and to the right. I'm not gonna name you a cardinal
That's
direction
fine.
because that's dumb and you wouldn't fucking know.
South from Waterdeep.
South from Waterdeep. Hey, you better watch out. She could summon reinforcements. That Drow City ain't far.
You better watch.
But you would see actually 4 of obviously not chained up or doing any specific menial labor of the same kind of beasts that you fought in the sewers. Kind of like just roaming along there, sort of just picking at some sort of food thing that's on the ground. Before all like you just hear, and everyone would kind of turn as you hear this, some loud squawking from them as suddenly one of them like drops to the ground with 3 arrow shafts sticking out of it. All of them make to run, but one more of them is pelted down by a couple of arrows before
Well, let's stay away from there. We didn't want to get accidentally hunted.
a couple of roving orcs would actually come up and kind of like pull out their arrows and start kind of like getting to work. Working on them. Too far away to tell.
They're just trying to hunt, get some food. I don't care.
Yeah.
Wait, are like orcs like boo scared in this world, or
Yes.
or
A
like
lot of people think so, but also a lot of people see Drow and think boo scary. So
Also true, Fendian did get a book from work, so you know what? Yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit. Some guys hunting over there. I guess we should just stay out of their way.
Keep going.
They're just trying to get their food.
yeah. Looking up ahead, maybe like, would you say you rolled a 16?
Yes.
Probably like 2 or 3 hours into your journey, you would be looking up ahead, and you would see just a couple of like of small small like kind of domesticated, not domesticated, but like just smaller looking non-threatening animals up maybe 3 hills up and to your left, so probably a good half mile away. Look to be maybe, I don't know, could be like something like donkeys, could be like horses, just kind of like something that is quadrupedal and kind of like a little bit low to the ground. Yes. Before you would like kind of like see them kind of like spook, and 2 of them kind of run off. One of them kind of like freezes. Before like this large centipede, millipede, insect-looking thing just erupts from the ground under it, and just like immediately crushes the entire like center torso part of this thing with its jaws, and just sort of like almost bites it in half with one bite, but is able to just like open up again, its mouth kind of opening up wider than a standard mouth would allow. This all in all, this thing probably knocks it up in the air maybe 10 or 15 feet, and stands about that tall out of the hole it just wormed out of. Yes, and it just sort of bites up, almost bites it in half, and then opens up and just kind of like grabs the remaining pieces of, you can now see a wild horse, and just like swallows it all in one bite. There's probably, this thing is probably a good, as you can see right now, there's still part of it in the hole that it was burrowing. But out of the ground is about maybe 8 or 9 feet thick and at least 25 feet long.
God.
As it just ate this horse, and after it does, it just kind of like pops up out of the ground a little bit using its legs. You can see it's all in all probably about 35, 40 feet long. And then just immediately just like and burrows back underneath the ground.
I feel about centipedes and millipedes the way you feel about spiders. So Kai just does one of those like grossed out shivers, like, oh god.
Yeah, T's gonna be like, we're going around.
No argument.
It was like the road is leading you straight ahead, and this was like half a mile off to your left. So
We're not in Baldur's Gate anymore.
you are not coming within half a mile. You are coming within half a mile, but not any closer to that would just happen. But yeah, as that happens,
Wouldn't it be crazy if
you
we
would-
started moving faster?
I was about to say, Aqua just kind of like shakes her head, and from Night up front, you would just hear like, and what you are witnessing now is the reason why no merchants' caravans or anything of that ilk come through anything that is not a city unprotected. That is pretty much everything that you can expect from being outside of the city these days.
I lightly tap the sides of my horse a little bit, so I trot a little faster.
It's
I'm
fu-
like, Dragon, don't go too far.
it's
He's gonna like smirk to herself and make sure that Kai can't like see her face and be like, the faster you go, the more noise you're gonna make.
Wait, so I can't hear?
You can hear that, but you just
You can't
like,
see her smirking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm ahead of you, so you don't like see my face, but you just hear.
You're behind me.
Wait,
She's
I'm
near
like
the
in front.
I'm
Yeah.
directly behind Uncle Night.
Oh.
yeah, she's like all the way up front, but you are.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but you kind of like right up, kind of equal to Syl at that point. Knight kind of like looks back at you and just goes, "It's probably fine. They're those beasts in particular are fairly adept hunters. But also like a lot of hunters know that easier prey is typically better prey, and so a couple of unprotected horses are certainly easier to go after than a group of 14 things that are all traveling together, because."
And also,
you
might
can.
just mistake this one a big thing.
Yeah, I was about to say you can.
Yeah,
You
let's
can.
move a little closer together.
You could certainly. It could certainly eat one of us, but I'm sure it does not treasure the idea of immediately getting beaten by the rest of us. So, I think they're a little bit smarter as creatures than that.
Don't worry, Kai. I believe Kat will be watching over you while we travel.
And me.
Night is just like cackling up.
He's like all stiff and like freaked out. Now he said, "Who will watch over you when you're sleeping?"
I'll take it as it comes.
Well, the night doesn't last 13 hours, so. We'll be good.
She just like mumbles under her breath. I'm pretty sure that's what Rhea's doing.
Or I'll take.
Wearable.
You tried.
It worked.
So, if no one has anything else to do, you guys continue riding along. You see another caravan coming your way as it gets closer to evening. You would see a single carriage being drawn by 2 horses. It is like a hard-topped carriage, though there is guards posted at each corner on horseback. So if this is the carriage, there's one posted like 1, 2, 3, 4, all like riding along, 2 in front, 2 behind it. They're all wearing like metal armor. They all have crossbows on their back, and they're all carrying seems like either pikes or halberds of some sort.
Is it a fancy carriage?
It's not terribly fancy. It seems that there's like it seems pretty full because it's kind of sinking into the dirt a bit. And it also has like things like strapped to the top of it and things strapped to the side of it. It seems to be some kind of merchant caravan.
Any like house sigils or anything like that?
No. But as it gets closer, all of the guards are wearing helmets. So you can't really make out much of there. There are 2 people driving the horses that are arguing. One is like a blonde, like a dirty blonde high elf, and the other one is kind of like a wavy-haired, orange-haired human. And then there is, as you get closer, another elf that is just sort of like laying back on the top of the carriage. You can kind of see like the annoyance in her body language. She also has like kind of like more rusty looking orange brown hair. And actually, and as you approach the side of it, well, they stop arguing as they go to pass your caravan, and they each give you like a wave.
I'm going
and
to
actually,
hold up my poster and be like, "Have you seen this
Oh
man?"
my god!
they both give you a shrug.
We're bringing a lighter next weekend.
They both give you a shrug, and the person up top like doesn't even acknowledge you. But as you do go to pass it, painted on the side of it is actually the symbol that hangs outside of the Zenin store.
I know Soul of Val, but who's on top?
Val is on top.
Oh.
Nah.
He's arguing with Natalie.
Oh. Nice.
But after they pass you guys, you like continue. Like you can kind of like pick up the faintest the faintest on the wind of them going back to bickering about something.
Did we hear anything?
No, we cast mind our business.
After they pass you, like you're able to catch like one sentence before they're too far gone. You would hear presumably the female just say like questions that I didn't think anybody would ask.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
It's your cameo. You made it.
Yeah, great. I'm just trying to think like where they would even be at in the conversation at this point. She'd probably just as they get to the edge of the range of your hearing range, the female voice, you would just hear like I swear we could have been back 3 days ago, but no, we had to take the long way around. Couldn't go the short way, could we? No, had to go the long way so you could see. And then like at that point they're out of range.
They took the scenic route.
They
There's
took
some
the
poses.
dragon route for the dragon boy.
They said
Certainly,
posies, but
certainly a good guess. But anyway, that is the only other interesting thing that happens during the day. If there are no other conversations to be had, then you guys will eventually reach the top of a particularly tall hill. At this point, you can kind of see it starts winding down, because you are getting close to not only the temple, but you are also getting close to the mouth of this valley.
Mm-hmm.
But winding down towards like the almost the mouth of the valley, about 3 miles away at this point is you can see it looks small in the distance, but you see a stone building. And upon seeing that, Night Knock would kind of stop and pull off to the side and just go, this is about where we call it for the day. At this point, it's getting the sky is like a deep shade of like a cross between like purple and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Sun is getting fairly low in the sky, about to settle behind one of the hills. It's like that's our destination, and bed down for the night. Everybody prepare yourself for tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's a like a grove. Yeah, as I'd say, there's a grove of trees to the left of you, because you've been traveling like almost along the edge of a forest the whole for the last probably 2 hours. You've gotten close to one of the forests that nears the city of Baldur's Gate. But she would just kind of like gesture over and just be like, probably good to make our camp along the tree line just to give us some cover. Yeah.
Agreed.
And so she will head over there, all of you will, kind of set up your belongings for the night, stake your horses together. You guys don't have like a cart or anything, so it's a little bit different from your first.
Sleep under the horse's teeth. Do what you won't.
I'll sleep
No,
in the
she
tree.
she makes 3 of them together and sleeps on the bed.
Everyone starts. A couple people start like gathering some materials to build a fire. A couple people start setting up like tents and bedrolls and what have you. But actually no, I don't think anybody has a tent. Everyone just starts setting up
Nope,
bedrolls.
couldn't afford
Gonna be sleeping under the stars.
For 500 gold, you might.
them.
Night would wander off into the woods somewhere. And who is proficient with these? Around the fire, gathering materials. Unless someone else is volunteering to help. Your 2 companions who are proficient with cooking utensils
I have my cooking pots.
will
Are you
We'll begin.
proficient?
Well, it's not that hard to fucking boil water.
Well, no, but
I got them.
I was about to say, like, one of the artisan's tools that you can be proficient in
Gurman.
is chef's utensils.
I'll just offer to help because I spent money on them.
Yeah, I was about to say you can still help. You just probably wouldn't be like the person preparing an extravagant meal.
Yeah, no, I mean plus.
It's just like you can buy thieves' tools and you can attempt to use them, but unless you're proficient with them, like you're not going to be able to make a lot of like harder DCs rather. But they will still accept your help.
Yeah, no, I'll
cooking.
help cook.
Right.
Set stuff up. Hand out the plate.
Yeah. To your surprise, or maybe not surprise, it seems like the 2 people taking charge of the cooking, who both appear to be fairly good at it, are Aqua and Luna.
Oh,
Not too
Rare?
shocked.
What?
Rare doesn't.
Wasn't that kind of servant? But, no.
Yeah, most times, like, noble families just have like a personal chef
Yeah.
instead of having servants do it.
But yeah, Luna and
I'm not too shocked.
Aqua get together, start cooking. Maybe like an hour later, it's served. It's a nice hearty stew, but there's also like some spiced vegetables up in there, kind of like separately, along with like some rice that they brought along. So it's like vegetables over rice. You have the stew, as well as just a couple like everyone gets a couple kebabs of just like spiced and seasoned meat along with it. So as far as dinners go, honestly, it matches the quality of the meals that you have at the suites out in the wild. So compared to like the rations that you had to eat in your last trip, this is certainly a nice change of pace.
Mm-hmm.
Probably half an hour into dinner, Night comes back. She has like a couple bundles of plant life wrapped up in her materials, and she kind of like sets them down, takes her meal, but begins also like mortar and pestling some of the plants and kind of the beginning stages of making some salves or some balms or something.
Herbals and kits.
Not shocked.
She would accept your help. She
Yeah,
is
not
also
shocked.
she would accept your help. She was also proficient in herbals and kits. So the 2 of you kind of get together and make the beginning stages of what could potentially be a couple of nice healing salves.
Wait, who is it again?
Night,
Thanks.
one of the redheaded twin. Once you guys had finished eating,
Code name Night.
yes, one of the guys. No, it's Fate's Day Night.
Stay in.
You're welcome.
Oh.
All right. So as you guys finish eating, everyone is kind of like awkwardly looking at each other as the elephant in the room right now is so watches.
I'll take first watch.
Right. Should we split those up 4 ways, 3 ways?
Maybe like 2 or 3 people per watch. There's enough of us. I guess 3 people each.
3 people watch.
Yeah. Sounds good. We'll do 4 watches, I guess. Then we'll go.
Who wants to go on watch with old Fendi?
All right. So who wants early evening?
I'm waiting for Syl.
T's just gonna be like, I'll take the last watch so I can get my sleep over with and be up early.
Fair.
I'll take third.
As it's say.
I'll take third.
I was about to say, seeing you both go third, and like especially the way that you say it, Knight will just go, I will be the last one to volunteer for third. That seems entertaining. It'll be Aqua and Autumn that volunteer to. Actually, no, Aqua and
so
Rax that
power
volunteer
up.
to do your
The
shift.
first watch.
The first watch. Second watch will just be 3 of the NPCs. Not super important who. If it's only NPCs, it'll be them and Arwen. So they'll take care of their bit. And then last watch with T will be Autumn and Cat. That'll be hilarious.
Oh no.
To go is with us.
What?
Nobody.
Oh, just us.
Oh, Knight.
Oh.
Knight volunteer to go with you. Oh, and you'll have since there's one person left over, since her sleep is done, Renner will also volunteer to go with you, T. So you have 4 people for fourth watch. All right, so we get to
Gab's on second watch.
what?
Gab is on second watch then.
Yeah. All right, so we get to first watch.
Why you wanted to flirt with Gab some
No, I was hoping she didn't want to fuck me.
more? Your eyes are pretty, and also your hair.
Thanks.
I think I watched it recently.
What?
There's T. I think I watched it recently.
I haven't
Thanks, I
watched
hate
it in
it.
2 weeks. Like, thanks, I hate it.
It's turning crystal
Am I
instead of
making
grey.
any rolls?
What?
Am I making any rolls?
Yes, go ahead and I won't roll for the NPCs because trying to look up all the character sheets would be a mess. So roll with advantage.
Ooh. Okay. 21.
21. All right.
This is my time.
Are you gonna scare away some more elves?
Go
A
on,
couple of noises in the woods kind of make you jump a couple times while you're doing your watch. But for the most part, is a fairly uneventful couple of hours.
Okay.
Wow.
Nobody wants to talk to Fendi.
Or should I say?
I was about to say if you would like to talk to anybody, you certainly can. You have
What's here again?
you have Rax and Aqua.
Listen, I know that these two are gonna get a talk, so I want my talk too.
I was about to say. I mean, you know who Rax is. Aqua might potentially interest you because she is a prefect up at the academy.
Yeah, so I was feeling, so prefect academy, what's it like
Yes.
working there? I've always been interested, but just never really took the jump.
Let's see. My sister and I, we both became prefects there at the same time. We've only been prefects there for about 8 months. Prior to that, we were just attending.
Well, that's good. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Very
I
prestigious.
suppose. There was a mishap with an excursion, because there are obviously 5 prefects of the 5 different schools of
Mhm.
magic that we teach there. There was a little mishap on an excursion, and all 5 previous prefects were killed. So that is why the promotions happened. But still, I suppose it is nice to be
It's quite an honor.
sought after. A lot of research, a lot of just looking after and teaching. A bit of pressure at points, but I mean, I certainly don't mind research. I enjoy reading books and the such, so it appeals to me having all of that information at my disposal. And
I know, I'm quite jealous. The library's so expensive. I just have a tiny sad little thing.
oh well, I mean, if you would ever like to come and visit, we could certainly, just let you in and let you peruse books for free. You wouldn't be able
That'd
to
lovely.
take anything out, but we certainly could have you spend a couple days there just reading whatever you would like.
Ooh, I might take you up on that offer. That would be quite nice.
Yeah. Do you also practice magic?
A little bit, just a wee tiny bit. Didn't for a while, then I sort of did, and now I'm kind of back to learning, not of my own volition, but
With a mage's focus, or do you get your magic through a different source?
I technically have a focus.
She's asking specifically with a mage's focus.
I don't study any magic from the academy.
Ah, I see. So does your come more naturally or more
My powers were
being
given to me.
being gifted to? Ah, I see.
Yes.
So like a druid or a cleric or something of that nature.
Yes, of that nature.
Gotcha. Very good.
Well, not literally of nature, but
So not a druid or a ranger then. Got it.
do rangers? I suppose they
Yeah.
would.
Yes.
So we sprinkling of magic.
Sorbet. I want to see my little boy.
Here he comes.
I want to see my little boy. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I do like cats as well. We have our little girl. gesture to the wormling.
Cat just sneezes in her sleep.
But
Yeah,
yes,
I noticed she's a very obscure pet to have, but still, as long as she is loyal, certainly very useful.
she's very good and she loves bacon, but who doesn't? Other than vegetarians. Understandably so.
Fair enough. But yes, you will have to come up and visit sometime.
I would love to.
I know, certainly short-staffed at the academy, so I do believe if the people who are in charge of appointing people could get over any prejudices that they might have towards you, that I would certainly appreciate any help that you could
He looks so excited. I really do like to teach magical theory.
offer. That would certainly
I'm much better at that than teaching spellcasting. I only know like
that
three
would
spells.
that would actually probably be perfect, as you do not have
He like let's have like an excited ski. Oh my goodness. Oh
that would
my
be
goodness.
perfect, as the classes that we teach obviously have direct correlation to the schools of magic that my sister and I study. She is a blade dancer, hence all of the daggers, where I
gathered that.
study the school of the Night Enchantress, if you've read or heard about that at all.
I know a small amount.
Yes.
Not as much as I would like to, but these schools are fairly new.
Yes.
But
Yes,
that would be
it is.
lovely.
But yeah, it was, I guess, the other perk that came with being made a prefect was previously just studying a lot of theory, but when I was made a prefect, they allowed me to test a few of the rarer foci that we have at the academy, and one of them awakened for me, as they say. So that is why I have these now. She kind of pats the swords that she has, well, the hilts that she has on her side.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And Fenyon seems excited by that. And I assume they would just have some like more idle chatter.
Yep.
And he might just like also talk to Rex because he feels rude not including her.
No, she is a quieter type, but like she'll chime in a couple times, like with just random phrases.
But yeah, that's
Right, so
all I have.
Yep, second watch. Our first watch comes to an end. We move to second watch, which is late evening up until about midnight. And I already made the encounter roll, so I know nothing is going to happen for them. Roll
Hello,
goes.
friend.
I was about to say, roll goes by fairly quietly, aside from just a small amount of. They don't gamble with any coins or anything, but to pass the time, it's just a card game between Gabluna and Arwen, just sort of spending time together.
Damn,
Bonding
I
and
was
stuff.
far when I could have won more money.
Well, I imagine.
Alright, they eventually wake you up for third watch, which is the watch that goes midnight till fairly early in the morning, say 3 or 4. The two of you, as well as Knight, gets up for that. Kind of stroll over towards the your camp is made kind of like right in tree cover, so you'd all kind of like gather together at like the very edges of the trees and kind of settle down for your watch.
I'll
If you would
keep an eye out.
to say either you can each make perception checks, or one of you can roll with advantage, your choice.
Who has better perception?
That's certainly.
+3.
I can't find it. Hold on.
Speaking of rounds,
You probably have fairly good
Sorry.
perception.
I
You
have
are
more
a
sorry.
wisdom-based caster.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I have a good time.
You know what? Use a dragon die.
They don't like me. They don't
No.
like you.
Don't say that. It looks like dragon die.
11 and 12.
I'll take
Not
the
on
12.
table.
No kidding.
So it's gonna be 16.
16.
How do you manage to like make it spin like that every time?
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's fairly quiet at first.
Chris?
Well, like the first hour or so goes by. I'm imagining you guys are going to talk, so I can't just be like the entire thing goes by the end.
Yeah.
So, but it starts out the first kind of 10-15 minutes while all of you are awkwardly silent just goes by without any issue.
So rare.
What about her?
Knight is
I don't
also.
know. What about her?
I was about to say Knight is also just now intently in this conversation. Is there?
Oh, there's something.
oh, isn't Knight the one that hit on her too?
Oh, is it?
Oh shit! Kai doesn't know.
Yeah, Kai doesn't know.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
Uh,
Am I currently dating her or anything like that? No.
I didn't know what you said.
Oh. Am I dating her or anything like that? No.
do you have feelings for her?
We discussed it, and nothing is coming of it.
You just like discussed it, like a
We-
normal thing.
She told me how she felt. I told her how she felt. She told me no. She told me why she said no, and I understood. We're mature adults here, you know.
Thinking back to the question that she asked you the previous day, Night is kind of like narrowing her eyes at you a bit.
I swear, he's like an old man.
You could have said something.
I was forced into a bit of a position with a fellow friend of ours, so we had to have the talk eventually. And I figured because you were anxious, I might as well get out of the way.
Well,
Are you always this boring?
Well, I feel like an asshole.
Now they're not friends anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, is this boring?
That's not nice. He seems rather interesting.
You're both pushing your luck here.
I was She kind of like rolls her eyes.
But no, nothing is coming of it. Shouldn't you be the one talking about? You had the more interesting evening.
Now do it. I was going to say, now do it. She was like standing next to you, like interrogating him. But now she like gets up from where she was sitting, strolls over to Syl, sits next to Syl, and is now doing the same thing towards you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What did you do?
Let's see. Let me count my head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 8 seconds long of kissing.
You're wrong.
Scandalous.
No, but
I didn't kiss her for 8 seconds.
Did you
I
count?
kissed her for 15. I don't even know if they'll make pick that up.
Most likely.
Today.
You're not there.
You're
Shut up. Sleep under your horses.
He's just army crawling towards this conversation.
Today. It hurts.
Who did you kiss? Is it someone who's with us?
No.
Take a guess. As you're very curious and nosy, take a guess of who it's here.
Ooh,
I'm
this
not-
is actually gonna be kind
I'm
of
not
funny.
curious and nosy.
I want to see who she guesses.
Okay, I'm curious and nosy, but still, everyone is. Well?
Please say T. Ew. Well, everyone thinks
I
he's
was
gay.
busting on him when we were
Oh yeah, that's true.
See, there's 13 of us here.
You
I
can
know
subtract yourself from
I
that.
know it wasn't me, and I know it wasn't yourself, otherwise that's gotta be a terribly interesting story.
He's missing a ring.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa! Alright!
I'm guessing it's not my sister. If it
Oh.
was, I will literally give you every single one of my belongings.
What?
Saying that like that would never happen.
Oh, it's like, what?
You usually only have like 1 of 8 choices.
Leaves me
at
10
best.
guesses. It wasn't you, was it?
No. I'm boring after all.
I don't think you're boring.
Assumes he's gay by process of elimination, just says Fen.
It's fucking funny.
Oh.
You
God, I
seem
wanna be a mosquito and
rather
give
feminine.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
interesting.
I don't know. You might
Is
be.
that a compliment?
I don't know if that's an
She's-
insult,
it's-
compliment, or just an observation.
It's an observation. You're
I've heard
you're
worse.
dressed very nicely. You're covered in jewelry. She's not gonna be like, you look like a man's man.
He's just like,
I don't know. If I had to peg you for a type, I would say you're the
peg.
at that, especially with her being into women. If you say that in character, she will just like look at you and just start cackling.
I'll laugh with her. I can imagine Syl's
that-
just either lost or just like
In
No,
that
just
case,
like,
you seem like the kind. I don't think you're into the drow. So you seem like the kind that would be
He's a
into.
bit poor. I'm just kidding.
Funny starts having a nightmare.
He runs over, kicks him in the ribs.
No, no, no.
Oh my god,
She
she
wants me to do that, I swear.
But upon that, you seem like the type who maybe. Like the old stereotype, how you have like the helpless maid, like the damsel in distress, and then the prince in shining armor, like that, but the reverse. I'm guessing the really tall buff half elf.
You got it.
Wait, who is that?
Exactly.
Rax.
Rax.
You got it. It's Rax.
Am I right?
No.
Damn it. Hmm.
Rex comes in.
Second.
very-
got
Second.
it. No.
Second. I was gonna say literally there's no. All right. Second guess. The exact opposite. The really petite Eladrin.
Incredible. Second times is the charm.
Still no.
Still no.
Wow, man, your
Aw.
attitude is. I love it. It's
Isn't he lovely?
incredibly charming, like a true noble of Waterdeep.
I just like starts laughing at that.
Sorry, I am familiar with the city.
You're not wrong.
I've been before, but regardless, let's see. Third guess.
Seeing as we're both from there.
The Artificer?
Oh.
Oh.
This is my wife. I don't know what she does for a living.
Yeah, in character.
It's alright.
He's like, I don't know that word.
Big word.
Hey.
Oh, really? The redhead Artificer? Oh, it'd be cute together.
Thanks.
She's being genuine.
I know.
I was being
Why
genuine.
are you so embarrassed by it? I'm asking honestly.
She's not my usual type.
What's
Does
your
type
usual
usually
type?
matter when it comes to love?
True, definitely not.
He like visually just gags at the word love.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Don't
Another
answer.
night.
Don't answer either of you.
Hey!
I hate this. I hate this so much.
To be fair, that was a really good pun.
What?
You said another night. Her name is.
Oh! I didn't know why.
Yeah, that's why she asked you. You said another night. She was just like, hey.
Wheels turn. No.
Kai and Cat sit in tree. Kainkat.
What?
Kai and
Oh.
I spelled kissing really
I'm
funny.
like,
I was like in my head. I was processing. It was just like. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh man.
Can't wait to watch that back and just see like everyone's wheels processing. Like,
I can't wait to watch this in 3 years and be like, what the fuck is my voice? Oh man.
Answer the question.
No. I'll go last if you go first.
What?
What, bitch?
Answer. What's your type?
I don't
He said, "Why does
believe-
type matter in love?"
Oh right.
don't believe a type matters when it comes to love. I believe that no matter what they look like or what they are, love is love.
Very true. The lady
I
who
know I'm quite boring in my taste.
the to be fair, I happen to agree with Sil on this one. My usual type is just chasing the occasional highborn noble ladies that wander throughout the palace. Most of them are half elf or full elf, and I thought that was my type until all of that suddenly changes when I meet a very, very feisty tiefling who could probably throw me through a window if she wanted to. You think you have a type until all of a sudden someone comes along and then you don't.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not gonna
She's
do-
talking about Rare.
Okay.
I was about to say, it's the only tiefling other than you in the party.
and the one that we've already established got asked out on a date.
Man, you're sick for 1 week and all of a sudden you, never mind. Continue. But yeah, it's your turn to answer the question. She agrees with Sil on
Shockingly.
type not matter when it comes to that kind of thing. Well, I mean, if anything, I guess you and I have pretty similar types, then, don't we?
She like a little like the Sims miles.
You just
Love it.
Kai's face is just I regret picking these people to do the watch with. Well, I'm not really usually the dating type. not really my thing. Relationships. Mm.
Are you sure pursuing one is the best choice then?
I
Go
never
into-
said I was pursuing one. Not.
I would make sure that all parties are aware of that then. That can,
So
from personal experience,
what-
lead to some
I'm letting it.
awkward situations.
I'm seeing what happens.
you're winging it.
Just be,
Don't make a play on my actual words.
just
Our talks in the car are confidential.
be clear on your intentions with the other party. That is all I'm saying.
What if you don't know what your intentions
Bendy's not there.
are? But he wishes he was. He's gonna wake up. I feel like I missed out on a conversation that I had something to add to.
I feel like Kai's gonna hurt somebody.
T would have had a very interesting perspective on this conversation.
Even if you are not aware of what your intentions are, be upfront with you not being aware of what your intentions are. The last thing you need is to
Good
lead
shot.
somebody along, especially someone who seems like a very nice girl.
Yeah.
You also seen what she can do with that gun.
She has a
I
gun?
have.
Yeah, definitely be upfront with your intentions.
Have you not seen what's on our back?
A very big
I didn't know what it
gun.
was.
It's a very big gun.
Ah, then yeah, be very upfront with your intentions. Otherwise, you know what they say, nothing, how hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Right. Well, can't wait to sleep after this.
Just be honest with her.
Honest.
From personal experience
You're-
of someone
you're not gonna
who
be honest?
has not always been the best with people, honesty and communication are typically the best routes for this.
I believe she's speaking from experience.
I am speaking from experience, and
Thank
trust
you.
me, I've learned. Just try and learn from me so you don't have to learn for yourself. There's nothing more to say, and the rest of the watch will go
You started the conversation.
I know. I
fairly
regret
smoothly
everything.
until well, actually no, actually at that point you would hear some rustling off to one of your sides.
I think at the end of the conversation.
It's Bendian.
Kind of like looks Knight, who's sitting next to you, kind of looks over to you because it came from behind you, and just kind of like raises her eyebrows before she just kind of like motions to you of just like,
Out of character.
yeah.
If this thing has 8 legs,
It
I'm
has
gonna kill
7.
you.
That's missing one.
Yeah. Do I see
Also,
anything?
I was about to say, also out of character, based on the amount of wrestling and kickboxing experience that you have versus the amount of wrestling and kickboxing experience that I have, you can trust that I am smart enough to make the right decision in this. And I also value all of my bones and muscles being exactly where they are right now.
Oh my god.
So,
I'll
I don't
look.
think he's gonna go that crazy.
but you hear,
He's
you
going
hear,
bananas.
My first professional wrestling match, I broke a guy's rib. You know, things
This is
happen.
Dungeons and Dragons, Patrick.
Not on purpose.
I broke a guy's nose sparring.
Oh, look,
Don't
'cause
touch people.
did she like point up or like
no,
point
she,
high?
I was at stage. She pointed behind you guys, and
Okay.
she will get up with you and kind of like approach.
Yeah.
Urban noise. Yes.
I'm
I was about to say they kind of like venture off a bit to leave you standing there, but you also hear like some rustling coming from behind you, the opposite direction.
I'll turn around and hold my staff out. Can I make it glow a little bit?
Yeah.
Sweet.
But she kind of like she's like, you can see in the dark, yeah. Perfect. Kind of hear like a little bit of rustling, and then like a rustling like a little bit further away from that. She kind of like looks over to you and just goes, any ideas?
Wait, does Knight have dark vision too?
Literally the pointiest of ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You kind of
we'll
hear like
see
some more
more.
rustling coming from you.
I'll step forward towards it.
It definitely sounds like it's like maybe like 40 or 50 feet away through the trees, so like it's not like, you know, right next to you, but as you start to approach.
I wrap copper wire around my finger, point towards where the wrestling's coming, and say, "Identify yourself."
You wait. How long do you wait?
I will wait 6 seconds.
No response.
This is when Rocky
And-
makes cameo.
Listen. I'll walk towards it.
As you're walking towards it, from in front of Kai and from the other direction as Syl and Knight, you finally hear a noise other than rustling. You hear just like a low growl, followed by a little bit further away, you just hear, "Woo!"
Oh no, they're frat boys.
I also was like, who's howling like a wolf? Oh, probably a wolf.
Does that wake the rest of the group up?
It's a fair distance away.
Oh, okay.
So
Didn't
I
it
would
just sound like generally.
I would say no, not
yeah,
yet.
They're not loud enough to wake you up, but like if you're awake, you would hear it.
Yeah, but you hear the howl of a wolf, and you guys would hear it from behind you, coming from the direction over where Kai was. Before it just kind of like concernedly looks at you. Before in front of you, probably 20 or 30 feet, you hear an answer to that howl as another howl comes up. And at that point, Knight kind of like looks over to you, like eyes just wide open, and is just like,
I'll back up until who's like behind me.
no one.
Well, no, like
If you make your way all the way back to where everyone is, everyone is kind of asleep in a pretty close clustered circle.
Well, I meant out of Night and Syl.
They went.
You guys went like the opposite way.
Oh, okay.
You walked about 20 feet this way. They walked about 20 feet this way. So you guys are probably about 50 feet apart right now.
Okay.
Wake
You
the
could,
others.
you could yell
What?
Wake
for
the
us.
others.
Yes, right. Let's go. You don't be here alone. She kind of like grabs you and starts pulling you along. What?
So it's only 20 feet.
What can happen?
I was about to say she still like doesn't trust that, and she also like has gauged like your very finessely built build, as well as your more noble clothing, your lack of any real substantial weapon that you carry on your person, and is just like, yep, let's go.
I'm
And just starts
still,
pulling you along.
standing on the other side, like looking around. I don't know why I need the light because I have night vision, but it's fine. Just
Your
for
light
flair.
your light eventually catches on a bit of silver fur, as about 10 feet in front of you, kind of like looking up at you with bright red eyes,
puppy?
is a wolf, and it's just
A
kind
wolf
of like
puppy?
Nope. stands probably about 4 feet tall.
Does it look angry or hungry?
Looks hungry, snarling at you.
Don't forget you're also controlling the dragon this session.
Is it Dragon Week?
It's asleep. You
Cast
didn't.
spell,
Yeah, I was
away.
to say you didn't specifically say, "Hey, I want the wormling up with me on the
I'm
ship."
just saying for later. That's like.
Yeah.
So are we being woken up from that?
You and Knight make your way back to the rest of the party that's kind of like sitting there. Are you waking them up? Yeah.
I'm
so you
not
guys,
gonna yell because I don't want to draw anymore to me.
in turn, you all would get shaken awake by either Knight or Syl, who'd like deliver the message to you, like, we're wolves around us. We might be surrounded. Just wake up and prepare yourself.
Protect Gooseberry. I get up and I go to protect Gooseberry. I'm gonna like try.
They're like stationed like outside of the trees, so you would have to
Oh my god.
make
Okay.
your way there if you'd like
Okay,
to.
let's kill all the wolves, then make sure the horses are okay.
I'll get up and ready my stuff.
Does it look like it's gonna lunge at me?
It's kind of preparing itself too, unless you have a plan in mind here. What? Any plans?
What direction are they?
I am going to...
We heard a couple howls from all directions.
I guess I'll ask them to point in the general direction, and then I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire. And just like the 20-foot radius of like over where they were, and hope I catch something.
One, two,
Would I
three.
be able to shoot an arrow?
What?
Would I be able to shoot an arrow?
One more time.
Would I be able to shoot an arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to do so.
All right, where are you shooting at?
The wolf that's in front of Kai. That's the only one I can see at the moment.
You can't see it. Kai is still probably like 25 feet away from the rest of the group, and it's not so much the fact that it's your range of night vision that's hurting you. It's how thick the trees are. That is, you probably have about 10 feet of vision in every direction before the tree coverage just makes it so things are out of sight. So Kai, everyone is awake now and kind of like have their weapons drawn and pointed out. The only one who's not there is Kai.
Guiding bolt time.
All right, roll an attack. You casting it at first or second level? Okay. You can
Wolves
catch.
can't have a lot of hit points.
One way to find out.
Kai doesn't know.
I know. It's me asking.
That's pretty good.
17.
That'll hit. Roll damage. 46.
You need D6.
And
Yeah, I need to.
Fen, what is
That's
your
a pretty
what is your spell DC?
My
Use
spell
dragon,
save
and I'll
DC
give you-
And also,
Yeah.
fairy fire is what, a dex save?
It's a wisdom
Those are
save. I
pretty
Oh, it's a
think.
wisdom save.
Let me double check. I don't have it written down. I forgot to.
Wait, what is it?
But my
46
spell
plus
save was
what?
15.
I believe it's just 46.
I thought it was plus something.
Maybe it is dex to like
Oh,
jump
yeah.
out of the way.
Just 46. It's plus something to hit, but. You said what?
My spell save is 15.
Cool.
16.
16 damage.
Mm.
All right, you fire off your traditionally golden bolts into the wolf, like right as it lunges. So it throws itself at you, kind of catches it in the chest. You're able to sidestep as it lands in a heap at your feet and kind of like rolls past you dead.
Shit, you one-shotted that bitch.
Yeah, you just hear. And
Yeah,
then just
kind of makes
see a bright light.
kind of makes like a whimper, like lunges at you, growling as it hits your like. It kind of like lands, just kind of tumbles dead. It is. Oh yeah, let me look up spells. Well, it's got to be a warlock spell, I would assume, if you have it.
That's the drow thing.
Oh, it's a drow thing.
What?
Fairy fire.
I think it's
You
cleric.
get it naturally. It is a cleric spell. I know.
I know there's a couple things to get it. Now
Wizard spell
searching it
as
up by
well.
name. Fairy fire. It is. Dexterity saving throw. I was right.
I don't know what's wisdom.
That's bad. That's worse, man. I am rolling like shit tonight. You throw it out, and probably 15 feet away from you, you can see the outlines of two wolves in what color light?
They're gonna be in like an orangey light.
Ooh, spooky.
As soon as I see them, I can attack, right?
Hey, you have advantage on them.
They're 15 feet away, and they're kind of like growling now. And especially all of you hear the impact of something, followed by like the sound of just dying wolf off towards like the one side. And upon hearing that, like they kind of like growl, and they kind of like look up, and then kind of like stop advancing and sort of now just like are holding their
Oh, maybe we can scare them off.
holding their
Start clapping really
holding their
loud.
ground maybe 15
Bang some hands
maybe
together.
15 feet from you, just kind of like
I
still.
mean, T's been traveling a lot. She knows that these things don't usually go well, so with her staff ready, she's just gonna charge the two that she can see and attack.
All right, make an attack roll for me.
It's at advantage, you said?
Yeah, because
Yes.
that was a fairy fire.
It's just in. Naked lady charges at two wolves in the woods.
I'm pretty sure she's clothed.
Hey, natural
Mostly
20.
naked lady.
All right, roll me damage. Double the dice.
It has been a while.
I was exaggerating.
That was like an 8. So
I think it may be dead.
21.
Yeah, you kind of bring the staff down like right on the side of the head. You can feel like the neck just give
I think
as
it
you
was
swing.
22, but yeah. Okay.
What?
I think it was 22, but yeah.
It doesn't
Fine.
matter.
It did.
Yeah, so you bring it right across like the base of the neck. You kind of like feel the bones give. The neck snap as it does it. It gives out another like as you hit it and kill it. The other wolf kind of like snaps at you a bit, but also kind of like backs up a little bit before it finally gives like a howl in a different tone of just. And all of a sudden, you kind of like can hear from probably 4 or 5 different places surrounding you, some scampering kind of back deeper into the woods before the wolf, like who was looking at you, just kind of gives like one last final like low growl before it just backs up and starts sprinting
I
off.
like front on it, like getting ready to like.
How did you
spring,
drop
right?
it?
You did it. You protected the camp.
Like a white boy named Kyle to a piece of drywall. You kind of like give that little threatening kind of I'm about to hit you thing to it, and it kind of scampers off. The night once again settling into quietness once more as everyone kind of like relaxes a little bit.
Changes their pants.
Yeah,
Oh, you can make a nice
yeah.
fur
Could have
collar.
been.
I was actually thinking about
I'd say
that.
could have been a lot worse, but well and swiftly handled thanks to some good attack rolls. And it kind of once again settles into quietness. As at that point your shift is also coming to an end, so the three, you two as well as Knight, are able to turn in for the night. Knight kind of gives like a nice, as she like comes to retreat, like is like looking around for you, eventually finds you and sees the body of the dead wolf and just goes, "Nice, you're a bit tougher than you look, I guess."
I've been hearing that a lot lately.
It's a compliment.
Thanks. I'm feminine and I'm tougher than I look. Then I'll go lay down, probably closer like to actual people, like maybe like butted up against someone to sleep.
Like cat. Sorry, don't
Yeah,
wanna
you
give
have
her the
3
wrong
seconds to
impression
make
that
this
you like
decision.
her.
Yeah,
Meeting with the wormling.
cool. No, the wormling is like curled in between Arwen and Luna. It's very cute.
They're like a little happy family.
All right. So, that out of the way, Knight would after she does that to you, kind of like give you a nice bow and just be like, nicely handled. Bedtime. Kind of tucks in. Her and Aqua are kind of like snuggled pretty closely together since they're kind of familiar with each other.
I would have gotten my like full rest, right?
Oh yeah. This you're not up long enough to interrupt that. And finally, the last bit of watch comes in from late or early morning into dawn, and it is tea, Rare, and Autumn, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so make a roll with advantage, a perception check rather.
Thank God. 1 in 17. Unnatural 20.
Your dice are some of the hardest to read. Like, I can never tell even sitting next to you at times.
So I had to pick them up, but they roll really well.
Most of the time.
There's been a few times that they've really let you down.
Yeah.
Your session 0 especially.
When I couldn't find a way to progress the story because I failed all of my intelligence checks.
It goes by uneventfully. If there's any conversations you'd like to have while you're there. It's going to be a pretty quiet because there are 3 of you and 1 of you can't talk. So, though, I was to say, though, to pass the time, after about 5 or 10 minutes of silence, you would just hear like some very light music as Autumn is playing her violin, kind of like softly.
I mean, I wouldn't start any conversations, but if anyone wanted to talk to me, I'd like continue them.
Rare is pretty introspective at the moment, so she's not gonna start any conversations. And I mean, yeah.
Oh, and Kat's also here too.
Oh yeah, Kat is also there. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to like say to her after all of those shenanigans.
She's not the type to cry. If like Rare was like, so how did it go? Like she'd be like, but like.
Just leans into her. Just...
But drunk tea is a different story.
Oh, I love drunk tea.
That was like not even tea. That was like
I'm
me as a
all tea.
person. Like, oh, I put dots together. Tea's drunk. She'll just blurt it out, and it was right.
Oh no, you love her. Shit. Oops. Oh shit, go pug.
Well, so I guess if no one's talking at one point when like Kat isn't like directly in front of us, because I imagine we like do like rotations. I would try and like get closer to Rare, and I'll be like, so did everything go okay?
It went away a certain way.
The way you wanted to?
The way that it needed to go. What I wanted in that particular situation is unfortunately of fairly little concern.
Why?
Just because the situation is a bit more complicated than it really needs to be.
I mean,
I know you were telling me that your story was very similar, but I do unfortunately think there are some key differences in between our situations. Unless, of course, the man that you were interested in that you thought was better than you also happened to be a noble of one of the most prominent families of one of the most prominent cities in the entire Sword Coast, and he was set to inherit that, and his significant other would have been scrutinized under the magnifying glass of every single noble in that city, and probably nobles from other cities, and you would have to expect to be, the perfect, like, house wife.
one,
Yeah.
shouldn't matter what other people think. 2,
But it was.
he gave that up, didn't he?
I do not believe him leaving that life behind is going to be as easy as us simply leaving the city. As much as I would love for it to be that way, and would love for us to run from that life, there is responsibilities that are there, as well as a person there that I know he will not be able to completely leave behind to whatever fate may lay.
Well, if
It is a life that he will have to return to eventually.
you two ever change your minds, I have a place that you could perhaps disappear to. And I do owe Syl, sort of, so I could try and lend my services on getting whoever it is that you left behind there too.
That would be a far greater quest than I believe you realize you are volunteering for. But appreciated. Thank you.
If whatever information he gets finds the person I'm looking for, I will have a very large debt to pay.
Right, well, appreciated, but still, I think it's probably for the best. I don't think I could see myself, being the mistress over an entire noble house. That is certainly not what I was born or raised to do. I think I would do a fairly bad job at that specifically if he needed to go back, and I certainly would not be accepted among the nobles of Waterdeep. You can be damn sure about that, nor would his parents agree with it in the slightest. So there would also be that issue, but maybe it can happen one day if we somehow manage to break into the most protected manor in all of Waterdeep, get somebody out of it who would probably not wish to leave, and then abscond to some mysterious place among wherever you have this location at, then maybe the two of us could happen in that life. But unfortunately, in the one that we have to lead, I don't think it's in the cards, unfortunately.
T would let out kind of like not a scoff, but like a there are a lot of things that I didn't think I could be that I am.
Yeah, I know. You keep saying that, and I'm really, really happy for you, truly, that it all worked out for you in a fairy tale sort of ending, and you got to experience that. But unfortunately,
I'm not even talking about that. I didn't think I was going to live to adulthood, let alone find a new life, find a home. I didn't think I'd ever have any friends.
and I'm really glad that all of that happened for you. And truly, I didn't think I would ever get to experience life free outside of the family that literally bought me as a person and owned me. But I am. I didn't think that I would befriend one of the people who was part of the family that owned me. But I have, and he has become more important to me to anyone else. I didn't think I would set down roots at a random city that I'd only previously ever read about and make a ton of friends, but I have, and all of that has been nice. And so with that, I can certainly empathize with you. But not everything is always going to work out. And, sometimes you love somebody a lot, and you would do anything for them. But just because you do, the universe doesn't necessarily owe you a happy ending. And in this case,
And all I'm saying is it doesn't, but stranger things have happened.
it has, and I certainly have not completely written it off, but for now, I am content with the fact that if you were to ask me, do I love Syl? Yes, with my whole heart. I unfortunately don't think that's enough.
Deep. Water deep. Fuck.
Baldur's Deep.
T will just
Ew!
kind of sigh and be like, love has always been enough for me, but to each their own, and walk away.
I thought Rare was gonna fucking attack you.
Oh,
She's definitely definitely sees T's like more idealistic nature and that kind of thing as just like a roll your eyes like a grow up kind of shit sometimes. Especially with someone as rough of a life as T to be so like idealistic and naive in that regard. She's definitely like a little like kind of thing, but
Like, T knows the bad parts of love, but she also knows the good parts.
that's
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's what to say.
no, mine was
What?
halfway between an all and an
I was just saying, aw.
It's true, but Rare also does have like her very nuanced reasons for doing the things that she does. It's not like she just wants to hurt somebody and for the sake of hurting somebody. She also has a lot of feelings that she is repressing herself for the sake of, you know, still having the best life that he can, and also realizing that, like, as nice as it was for T to offer that, they're never going to accept, because Syl knows a little bit what his destiny entails, and she also knows what Syl wants to do with his life and the changes that he wants to make, and that requires him to be specific places. So.
Oh, well, you win some, you lose some, T.
But,
T needs to
yeah.
take the L. I just wanted to make that joke.
She'll take a time.
But nothing else happens over the course of your, aside from just like a very short conversation between Rare and Kat, Rare just being like, so how did that go? And Kat was just like, good, better than I thought it would, I guess. She's like, so are you? And Kat is just like, something. She goes, specifically, not specifically, but I mean, it's something.
Kissing.
Well, we'll get there when we get there. He doesn't seem like the type who has, you know, experiences with any sort of feelings. So,
Yikes! You're not wrong, but yikes.
where it's just like, well, just make sure he treats you right, and if he doesn't, let us know, and I'm sure T and I can amend that.
T will just kind of like crack her knuckles. And just be
Comrade.
like, yes, but also maybe spell it out for him. If he's anything like me, he probably won't get it.
Comrades of relationship troubles.
I have.
Brenna's signature with
Buckets. He's the type where ask me a question. This is Kat saying to you, ask me a question, just as an example to show you. Any question you want.
What color is the sky?
What color is the sky? You know, colors are such interesting things.
Wait, what
When
did
you-
she do?
She was like, be direct with him, and Kat was like, I am direct with him, but it's just when you ask Kai a question, and then she was like, ask me a question, and then what color's the sky? Oh, the color is the sky. What color is the sky? Colors are, you know, such interesting things. It's pigment and hue in the sky. I mean, it's such a broad subject. I mean, you have so much of it. It's different times of the day. You know, it can be all different. It's man, you're a really odd question you're asking me here. I am not answering it, am I?
God, you're like 6 feet deep
Oh,
here.
what, under attack?
12 feet deep.
Under attack about the sky? So he's just gonna be like, you
Yeah,
know,
me and Phil's relationship too thing, like trying to like get water out of the boat with buckets. The buckets have holes in them. The boat has holes in them.
so he's just gonna be like, you know, if you get him in a situation where he can't dawdle, I'm sure he'll be more truthful with you.
You're gonna make her tie me up. Ew.
As
I'll
your roommate.
have to get back
Design
on
for
top
you.
of him then and maybe ask him a couple things. And with that, Rare is just like,
He's just gonna be like, I've heard many a confessions in that position myself.
that's good to know.
I'm
I'll
nervous.
have to keep that in mind. But and Rare is just like, glad to hear it went well. And then Kat's like, how did yours go? And Kat was just like, you know how yours went? Kat's just like, yeah. Rare was just like, much worse. And then Kat is just like,
I just imagine I'm like behind her, like,
at that point, Kat is like about to ask another question, and instead is just like, and then just slowly reaches down to her side, pulls out her flask, and hands it to Rare, and Rare is just like, thank you. Just proceeds to like drink from it healthily. Hands it back.
And 2 shots of vodka. Glug, glug.
Click, 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 click. All right. So everyone comes to following morning. We've all received a long rest.
Kai feels humiliated, but he doesn't know why.
And
Yeah.
right, upon that, everyone comes to. Morning is day is yours. What would you like to do?
Time to go kill some demons or devils from the abyss.
I would like to get the fur from that wolf.
You
Oh, Kai skinning
Roll
things.
for skin.
make a survival check.
Let me see. Oh, that's the dragon.
You're not a dragon. Not yet.
I forgot survival was a wisdom-based stat. I'm not in trouble. He just goes over with the knife. He's like,
1.
The dice say otherwise.
10.
It's pretty gross, and it takes you probably 5 or 10 minutes, and you have
He's
like,
making noises the whole time.
you know, some muscle and tissue attached to the fur, but you have a mediocrely skinned wolf pelt.
Can I go for 2? The other one too.
Make another survival check.
So like I saw him struggle through the first one.
Yeah,
right?
right.
I'm just gonna be like, do you need help?
No, I got this.
I will do it.
Oh, actually, I don't need help. That was a 19.
Able to learn from your mistake for the first one. It's still grossing you out, but you're able to get like a decent wolf pelt for the second
I
one.
imagine,
You need some help.
I imagine he just holds it up successfully, and then just like it's like a cutscene to him just in the woods bending over, throwing up.
You should really stretch those out and let them dry while we're gone. Unless you want some bloody furs in your bag the whole time.
In between upchucks, you just hear.
I was about to say, T comes over and like waits for her moment between you throwing up just to sigh in your face and then like,
You just see my face, and then.
Oh my God! During the morning, though, I would wait to like T's alone to ask her a question.
go for it.
Was your watch as unbearable as being with Knight and Kai at the same time?
And the hits just keep on coming.
She'll just pat you on the shoulder.
Figured as much. It's gonna be a long.
Don't get me drunk, and I won't say anything.
Oh, well, I'm gonna walk
Right.
up to them. Are we ready for an adventure?
Actually, I would like something to be quite a bit distracting.
Time
so-
to go exploring,
Anyway,
spelunking.
how much exploring have you done?
Some. So, are we all ready to go? I know I am. The sun is starting to peek into the sky, and I'm ready to go.
I'd have breakfast, and then I'd be like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, same.
As you all get ready to depart, you'll kind of like circle up before you depart, and Aqua and Knight kind of look over to the 5 of you, and it's just like, all right, so do you guys have a? This is Knight talking. Do you guys have like a plan for if things need to be fought down there?
We go in,
Five
we
of
kill,
us.
we go in.
The 5 PCs specifically.
Okay.
It's like, well, you hired on a lot of other people, but is there, specific, do you want some people up front? Do you want some people in back?
I believe we should have at
I
least.
think we should have some people guard the sign. Maybe at least one person, sort of guarding the way as we go in. They keep a little bit of a distance to make sure,
Like a scout,
sort of,
a rear,
but from
rear guard.
behind.
a caboose.
A rear guard.
Yes.
I believe we should at least. I know T's quite skilled at stealthing ahead. We can have herself and Arwen scout ahead, and maybe.
Arwen is going to scout from behind.
Arwen's not-
Your DM does not have Arwen's character sheet.
Okay.
I usually hang towards the back. Seems to have been working so far.
Okay. Then behind with T we could have I was thinking Rax and Luna, if that sounds fine.
Maybe
I-
she'll like look to Rax and be like, maybe a couple steps behind if I'm
That's
being
what I
quiet.
mean, yes. Some
So
distance.
if you want someone being stealthy with T, I mean, I can probably handle that. I'm pretty quiet.
Who's
Yes,
that?
you
I'm
are.
a little less loud now.
Um,
Gesture to my armor.
Kind of like gives you like a look of just like, what's that mean?
Stab
so we'll
my
have you
hand.
two together up front, then I would say Rax and Luna, and then I would say a pace or two behind those two I will go, just so we have a frontline healer, and then everyone else, and then you said you will take the back, and I imagine Aaron like pipes in, and like with you and Aaron very back, depending where do you want to take in this, the back, the middle?
I'll stay in the middle. I sort of need to get. I don't want to be right in the front because I don't feel like almost dying again immediately. But I do use my sword a little bit more than my spells.
Is there any spells you want to prepare before you go sneaking up ahead with T?
No, I got everything I need in my daggers. Everything else comes pretty natural. Though, and Aqua would chime in. If it was not too much trouble, I would probably feel most comfortable along with Rax and Luna. Was it? They both kind of nod.
I know, like I said, I was gonna be like a step behind them. If you want to be next to me, or do you want to walk in a 3-man line? Sure.
I can go with you, just so you know. This is Aqua. Just so you know, nothing happens to you right away. I'm pretty tough. Just kind of like pat her half plate armor.
Yeah, I'm not, so I feel more comfortable. But does this plan sound agreeable with everyone?
Does Kat want to hang back since she has a ranged weapon?
Cat and Autumn were both hanging back,
Sounds good to me.
along with obviously Gab. Your casters are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat specified that like your casters are staying towards the
I'm
back.
assuming it's all agreed if there's something that's just too much for us all to face, we run.
I got enough sleep after the wolves to regain my spell slot, right?
Yes.
Alright, so whenever you two are ready.
All right. You ready, T?
Yeah.
All right.
Who's
Let's said.
going with me? Rare or
Night.
no?
What? You are breaking before combat.
We're not at combat.
That's what
So
I said
stealth?
before.
Oof.
Hey, here's a good roll.
Just a bad hiccup.
Okay. 26.
Fuck
You said okay to that?
All right. So
Okay.
I was about to say just a little bit behind you with a 24. You and Knight are practically silent as you're making your way forward. Even on horseback, you're pretty quiet as you.
You put socks on the horses.
That's what to say. You get you start out 3 miles away from this place. 2 miles, 1 mile, half a mile. As you get about a quarter mile away, this place now, probably about 80 or 90 feet long, maybe 80 or 90 feet wide, and probably 40 or 50 feet tall. It looks a little bit dilapidated and worn, but still standing. Looks pretty unused, a little overgrown. There is like a front doorway. The doors have kind of been removed, and it just kind of stands open. But as you get about a quarter mile away, Knight kind of like pulls up and just kind of like gestures to you, like looks over to you and just kind of like leans into whisper, just like, maybe we lose the horses.
Agreed.
Yeah. You kind of hop off, and the two of you begin to make your way by foot, still just about silently. How close are you getting?
So how far behind are they?
They are about, I would say, maybe 200 feet behind you.
So don't get into a fight.
I'd get like
Superman punch.
100 feet from the door and try and like make a perception, like just try and like scout out, see if I can like hear anything or see anything or anything.
Make a perception check. You said you're 100 feet from the door?
Yeah. It's cocked. Oh, I dropped it. Alright, let's do it that way. Alright, cool. Ooh, that's a good one.
I have stuff during break.
21.
21?
Ooh.
You don't really see anything. I mean, obviously you're 100 feet away and you're kind of like seeing in from an angle. You'd have to go like all like awkwardly kind of around the building in order to see like straight in through the door. But from the angle that you're approaching on, you can see probably the first 20 feet. You don't see anything. Though you do hear like a small crackle from inside, followed by a voice. What languages do you speak?
Common, Primordial, Orcish, and Thieves' Cant.
In a language that you don't understand, just kind of like a... You know what it sounds like to curse in any language, and it sounds like that. Like it's just like short, harsh, and just like... Barza!
Barza.
Oh the gosh!
Oh, isn't
We're
it?
just
There we
gonna
go.
like lean in and like, do you recognize that language?
That's a good question.
She just goes, Barza.
Does she?
It's obviously cold.
God, she knows so many languages, but she knows a couple of languages, not as many as Aqua. Because she doesn't like reading as much. She looks in just. I can tell you it's not common, not elven, not sylvan, not celestial, not draconic, and not undercommon.
Or I can tell you it's not Orcish or Primordial or Common.
Well, I mean that's certainly a lot of them.
Alright, do we want to try and draw them out? Fight them out in the open rather than inside in cramped positions?
Could, but also maybe don't even necessarily have to fight.
Well, do we want to call them out and just see what they're doing here?
Could. No harm in it, don't think.
You could
You're
ask
gonna
him
wait
I was
for
about
the
to say,
rest of the group to come?
Might want to get a little bit closer to the door just so if we can get there without being seen, might be able to see how many people it is we're calling out.
Alright, I'll go up another 50 feet.
When we see them moving forward,
Still.
do we like move forward at all?
Yeah, you're still about 200 feet behind. So you're now 50 feet away from the door. You can see in a little bit further, but you still don't see anything. Where it kind of like starts like sneaking ahead even a little bit further. Kind of like turns around to you.
Alright, let's like slowly approach the door, but as soon as like anything comes into view or I hear more, I'm gonna stop.
You get about 2 or 3 feet away and you're kind of like peeking around the entrance, and you can see up near it looks like a fairly open hall. There is a stairwell that you can see that kind of like goes up and kind of wraps around out of view. But it seems to go pretty much straight ahead for almost the entirety of the length of it, before it kind of culminates in an altar. And kind of working at the base of the steps leading up to the altar is just a single robed figure. That's it.
And I don't see anything else.
No, that is it.
I'll like back up a few feet, making sure she comes with me, and
Yeah.
just be like, "Do you see anyone other than?"
Just one person. So you look in and observe him make a perception check again.
Unnatural 20.
A natural 20. Yeah, it's just a single robed figure. Kind of takes his there's like sun coming in from a couple of the places, like the holes in the roof and such. He kind of drops his hood down, and it is just like a, kind of short on the sides, a little bit longer on top, of brown hair, rounded ears. He just kind of seems to be working with something at the base of the altar, but it appears to be human.
So I'll just lean it again. Do we draw them out or go in?
Honestly, with only one person there, I don't think it really matters much, does it?
Could be a trap.
Could be. Could just be somebody conducting some dumb experiments here. That's what we've seen.
No.
Up to you.
Do we charge in or do we signal for them to come closer?
Probably for the best to signal for them to come closer, just in case something is wrong.
Okay, I'm just gonna like turn around and be like,
Everybody slowly gathers in.
I guess what you meant to the person in the
all
I
know.
was like,
No.
I guess we
You're all-
would all leave our horses at the same spot
Yeah.
that you guys
You're
left
all
the
Yeah.
horses.
you're all about 10 feet away. You're still far enough away, and he's far enough in there that you don't need stealth checks yet. He still doesn't know you're there.
I'll like lock eyes with Vera when they're like still 100 feet away, so like they can't hear, and I'll be like, in thieves' camp, because I think she knows it. One person inside that
That
we
was
can
nice.
see.
Those with you.
Vera's with the rest of the group.
Oh, I thought you were supposed
I'll
to
like try and like
Fair.
sign it.
Rare nods.
And then,
Distributes that information to everyone. There's just one person inside.
get closer. Do I hear anyone talking? Like
No.
how they heard people talking before?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
It seems it was just that one curse when something went wrong there.
Should we just talk to him?
Maybe make a sound that's like kind of natural.
Not like that.
Too late.
Wait, did you really?
As soon as he tries to like
Did
open
you?
his
Yeah,
mouth,
Penny
no.
goes,
As soon as he tries to open his mouth, T's immediately putting her hand on it.
I would. Upon hearing that, because you're not going to be able to get it over like immediately, because you have no idea that Fenn's about to do this.
I can just imagine some stupid shit's about to come out of his mouth, and we're trying to be
No.
quiet, so she's just like,
Well, no, but like you wouldn't be like T has good reflexes, but like that would be like me being here and like as soon as Ash opens his mouth before he gets any sound of me just being like I'm not like my reactions aren't going to be that fast.
So
Ash
scary.
Ash would get out maybe like half a second's worth of scream before I'm just like no.
only there was a skill for it. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
And Penny's like,
I mean, be more like the onion.
I did what he said.
I was at
She
the
gives
I
you
was
like the like.
I was at to
worst
say so
legs
you get like one like before like completely over the mouth
Oh, now
and
it definitely doesn't sound natural.
upon that the figure, because you're still kind of like leaning inside a little bit, just kind of like looks over his shoulder and just... Someone there in common.
No. I don't say that.
The top track can go in.
You can make yourselves known. It is quite alright.
Just one person, so I don't know there's a whole group.
A little upset that you are distracting my work, but if you must come in to talk, well met. Hello.
Greetings.
You are?
Sylvanessing yourself.
Get to...
I'm Demon Lord Balzagurk.
No, just normal Tuesday for me then.
I think you're actually close in the name.
Oh
shit.
my god.
It's not Demon Lord, but that's why. Sorry, I had to get to my next part of the notes here. Balthazar.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. Do you have any purpose in being here?
Yes, I've been traveling for some time,
Mhm.
and I've noticed the other night some strange lights were coming out of what looks to be...
Well then allow me to assuage your fears. That was me. I'm conducting some research and experiments here that I was hired and brought here to conduct by an outside organization, and I am doing as such.
May I?
May you...
See?
They are a little bit more private in their research, not to be well discussed, so I would appreciate if you did not. I'm sure you can understand. That said, I'm certainly not here to strike down anyone who walks by, so you are certainly free to leave me to my business. I do not mind.
But I do know how adventurers can be. I myself being one, so I know that more than likely when I get to either Baldur's Gate, Silvermoon, or Lake, there might be a task, and I can easily assuade them that nothing's terrible going on here.
Well, then I can assure you that nothing terrible is going on here. I am a member of an organization. I was hired by another outside organization to come here and conduct some research into, I will even go so far as to say, the possibility of what could be some religious shrinage and or tunnels underneath this fine establishment, and that is simply all that I am looking for, researching, and studying.
I actually find myself under similar research. I actually have myself a artifact I found with possibly ancient religious ties, so I am very interested in what you're doing.
Are you now?
Uh-oh,
Are
scary.
you alone?
Yes.
Well, then, what artifact is this that you found?
You would take the harp off.
Hey, I lost that.
May you, come here so I can see it, and also you may see the research that I'm
Oh
doing.
my god, Sylvanus Fish don't.
Of course.
I'm gonna stay a little bit behind the front line.
He was going to be a front line
I'm
hitter either way.
gonna miss my little boy. There he goes.
So you walk the 70 feet up to the base of the stairs to him. Kind of, may I?
Here you go, Balthazar.
Oh, and then you can kind of see like he has like a lot of like chalk work on the ground, some like a couple pages of notes and such.
What?
Laying there.
Do I see what language?
What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, Infernal, Abyssal.
Yes.
You speak Infernal too?
I have rare, why wouldn't I?
Yes, you recognize the language.
Abyssal.
Indeed. So he asked to see the harp.
I would hold on to a grip because I'm sure you can understand, but I am not. I'm very hesitant of letting it go.
If you can simply hold it out so that I may observe it. Kind of like goes around and looks. Kind of like notices the 3 dents on like the one side of the harp that has the like the indents, the one that's each half moon and one is the full moon. Kind of like looks at those, and upon seeing those, eyes linger for like a half second longer and just sort of smiles to himself.
May I show you what it can do?
Are you referring to playing it? Or are you referring to the more
playing it? I do not want to
offensive aspects.
An arrow in a freaking ruin of importance that is a discourtesy to this building at itself.
Oh, he's getting upset.
Very,
You've upset the noble boy.
I don't know. I think arrows would be called for, given the nature of this building, but do you know what this building stood for?
I do not. That's
It is,
one of the
it
reasons
is,
why.
it is a temple to a god.
What god?
It was a temple to the god of murder himself, Baal.
I knew it!
Back when he,
Dear Lord Balsa.
back when he, used to be in the pantheon of gods, but that was prior to the incident in Baldur's Gate 20 years ago when he was stripped of that godhood and cast down.
I was always told it was a champion and not Bale himself.
It was a champion, but for being a part of that stunt, he was stripped of the title of god by Asmodeus himself and cast out of the godhood, and they appointed a new one in his stead.
Why is this building still stand then if it's to Bale of all people?
No one coming out here to destroy it would be a whole lot of effort, but you are seeing now the reasons why it is dilapidated and abandoned.
Of course. I mean, even if it is to Bale, it's still a part of our history, and if we destroy part of our history, we don't learn from it.
Absolutely correct. And speaking of part of our history, he'll pluck one of the strings.
Uh-oh. Oh.
It does not play multiple notes.
Oh.
It plays a singular note, but as he kind of like listens to it and just goes, "Can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Die.
Can you pluck a single string for me? Don't do it. I just want to hear something."
You pretend to pluck it and you make a sound with your throat.
Ding.
So well.
He plucks a string. It plays the multiple, like the almost chord, like harmonies that you have become familiar with as you play.
We're back.
All right, sorry for those technical difficulties again. We obviously will not be taking a break tonight just because it's already getting a little late. But that is all right. We had a lot of things to get through. We got through everything we needed to, but I guess there will be no combat this week. But hey, that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Take a picture.
All right. Anyway,
But yes, as Sylvanus would pluck
pluck a string.
and
It would play the multiple notes.
continue to play it.
As you continue to play it, you left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. As you go to pluck with your left hand again, reaches out and just your wrist. Just. Thank you, though. I have acquired all the information I have needed from that. Just kind of lets go of your hand.
Question: was it like a death grip, or was it like a
Not
just grab?
just a grab.
Okay.
He lets go and turns his back to you and begins walking. Very what?
Which way is he walking?
He's just you were at the he's just still like walking around the base of the stairs, like back towards where some of his notes are. Let's say, I'm very curious though as to where you happened to stumble upon one of the instruments of fate.
That's what it is.
Honestly, I'm not trying withhold information from a fellow scholar. But I would need to possibly see a map to pinpoint it. I don't know off the top of my head like how far from here.
Fair enough. It's simply such an obscure thing to come across in your travels. Do you know much about it?
No, but
It is called. They are called
they
the instruments of fate. They are considered legendary items of sorts that predate the cataclysm, that predate the blood war that happened between good and evil, between humanity and the fiendish forces of both the hells and the abyss, that predate even the gods and goddesses themselves. Divine, though older than the divines even.
I would reckon so.
There are-
From what? Oh, I'm sorry.
There are 23 of them,
I was actually able to pick up on that.
and you're holding one.
Yes, I am.
How curious. He begins to walk towards you again.
Oh my god, no.
Make a perception check.
What's that?
Would
Nine!
I get so mad that he's talking about it. So write that down.
What?
Unnatural 20.
A natural 20. As he walks towards you, and specifically near the base of the steps, there is like a large portion of the ceiling that where it meets the wall that are both missing. So he is in direct sunlight. As he walks, it's strange. He is moving, and his body is moving completely normally. He looks like a human, and he's moving like a human. It's his shadow is there, but it's almost lagging behind his movements slightly.
Okay, that's weird.
In a very odd, in a way that like now that you're looking at it, it's like step, and like as he goes to take the second step, the shadow takes the first step.
Ew!
May I do an action?
I don't like that.
Run.
You may.
I like to cast a spell. Message. I'm going to aim it at Rax. I are very much like a wonderful night to save me right now.
It racks.
Yeah.
Rax is going to tap you guys and be like, I just got a message from Syl. Apparently shit is going
I
south
just
real
immediately,
quick.
like, as soon as I hear from Sil, I immediately charge in.
So, but before that happens,
To not run in and attack.
since I want to be able to get our information out before the party is just like, so I started blasting! I was about to say, it's real hard to get lore out around you guys, because it's really like, every time I'm about to reveal lore, it's like, I see you're about to reveal lore, but what if I?
Sorry. The shout thing
Something works.
really scary. So
But yeah,
personal safety came first.
it is moving behind him, and especially disconcerting, as you like go to cast the message, he smirks, because you have to put a piece of wire in your mouth and point at the person.
It has to be wrapped around his finger and point.
There's a piece of wire wrapped around your finger. You are pointing towards the door, and you are saying your bit out loud, at a whisper, but still
shit.
out loud. So he makes the comment as you're doing it of just like, alone.
Hello.
As he takes each step towards you, the shadow behind him is almost begins to swell in size a bit. Before, as he's like 3 or 4 steps from you, he stops and it begins to peel off of the ground and sort of envelop around him. I love seeing your face when you know what's happening.
I don't know
I
what's
hate knowing
happening.
monsters.
What?
I hate knowing monsters.
It begins to peel up around him. It's the lower part of its body incorporeal, but the upper part of its body seemingly attached to his, sort of swirling in darkness around him. Just goes, well, you can send all of the friends in here you'd like, but I know one thing for certain. The organization that hired me, the Black Rose, would love if I were to bring them 2 instruments of fate rather than 1. So you're unfortunately going to need to part with that. And just as all your companions charge in, you just hear, there are 2 gnolls on each balcony that rise up
Okay.
from where they were. There is a couple of quasits and imps that kind of make their way from the shadows of the altar. As he stares at you, and as all of the rest of you charge in, and I will say for thematic effect, kind of like stop, as you kind of like see all this happening. He just kind of like gives a very, very, a very, very low chuckle. Just, well, the more the merrier. Well, to all of you, I have simply one thing to say. The Black Rose snaps his fingers. There's sigils that light up in the middle of the room. Sends their regards. Now you will die, and the rest of you, play nice. As the sigils fade, there are shadows that rise up from the ground, and as they finally dissipate, there is a horse-like figure that is standing in the center of the room, cloaked in shadows, its eyes burning like a bright red, and its mane almost like a light blue fire, as it just looks and glares at all of you. And that is where we're going to end this week's session, as we're going to start next week's session immediately rolling for initiative and getting into this combat, with Syl being very, very dangerously out of place.
Happens.
There's a very concerned look also as she runs in from Rare being thrown in your general direction. In fact, there are like several concerned looks being thrown at you. It's Rare, Knight, Aqua, and Rax are all just like NT. I'm saying of the NPCs are all just like you can see like calculating like
The biggest risk in the room.
not only that, but just like especially with the gnolls being up there, all of them longbows drawn, with spears at their sides. The imps and the quads kind of pouring down from the altar. Him with whatever thing he has wrapped around him, because all of you see the human that was there before, but now he has like a very large like smirk on his face, a more deranged look in his eyes, and this shadowy demon figure just rising up over the back of him. All of them have the look of like we have to help him, but now especially with the
Everything else.
other demonic figure now standing in the center of the room that thought of like, oh fuck, that's a lot of things to fight through to get to Syl. But actually, before we end, there is one last thing he will say to you.
Okay.
As the two of you kind of are looking over each other.
Oh, did I have the bow out at this point?
He raises his hands and then brings them back to his side as the shadowy figure raises its hand up, and bits of odd purple and like purple, red, and black, almost like little galaxies spinning in his hands of arcane energy, and just goes, I have a few tricks that you'll get to see as well here. Are you familiar with planar magic?
I'm familiar with quite a few things.
Huh. Perhaps I can show you something new before you die. And that is where we'll end, because there is a very interesting, call it a gimmick in this fight that you will get to experience, and I'm excited for that one.
Pat knows what it is.
No, Pat has no idea what it is.
Bye-bye.
Well, I mean,
I
he
know
knows what
what
the
it
shadow
is.
thing is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The first one could fucking suck depending on how initiative gets rolled. That first one could really suck. I did not expect you to do that.
Well, I didn't expect Fen to like make a noise to
Yeah.
announce us.
I mean, either way, all of those things would have.
I mean, yeah, but our fucking glass cannon bard wouldn't be by
Nobody made
himself.
him walk in. He
Because-
chose to go in there.
You did it to yourself.
He went, I'm rich. I think I know
No.
what I'm doing.
There he was, like,
And I was
Wow.
It was more like, I think it was more like nobody else is volunteering.
yeah, everyone was just staring there like, and it's like, someone has to go in.
I thought we were going to lure them outside.
There was no way we were going to lure him outside.
Come outside.
Come outside.
So that is where we'll end. Thank you all for sticking with us. We actually had a show that ended on time for once. Look at me go. Yeah, Derek's proud.
And
yeah.
eating fries.
Right? Let's.
Next
Or we
session's gonna last 3.5 hours out of spite.
Yes.
I have a trick
All
up my
right, so
sleeve.
well,
3 days or nothing.
I have a trick up my
3
sleeve.
days.
you want to fucking go? All right, we're streaming next Friday now. Here we go.
Here it up for day 63.
It is day 3, my
I
lord.
probably still too.
Door number 3, my lord. All right,
Number 3.
there was a Shrek reference for those of you who didn't get it, but
I got it. It's funny.
so that is where we'll end the session. Start up this time 7 o'clock next week, next Saturday, with some combat. Completely unrelated, Pat will be showing you how to roll new characters in this bonus video at the end of next week's episode.
I miss Kaz.
No.
And as always, this stream will be on our YouTube on Wednesday.
That is correct. 7 o'clock. So, until next time, thank you all for watching. We love and appreciate you very much.
Might be my own seat next time.
And hopefully we have all 5 of us here next week. So yeah, thank you for watching and
Goodbye, have a
bye.
beautiful
Bye.
Yeah, that's my Russian accent that comes out whenever I don't know what to say bye.
If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be live streaming beginning November 9th, 2019 at twitch.tv/TUFDND. For more updates and content from us, check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at TUFDND. Links in the description. From all of us here at The Unlucky Few, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.